It's only the giver. I wasn't paying attention like a stupid idiot. There you go.
9mm.
9mm? Well, there you go. That's a little big to pocket piece. With Pete Davis, sidekick producer, sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler. How's Miss Victoria? Veronica, Victoria.
What's
Veronica,
her name today?
How about Victoria? How's she doing, too?
Sorry.
Does Veronica know about Victoria?
No, I had in my mind, actually, I was going to announce to you guys, I think I'm going to get one of those Japanese body pillows, and I'm going to call her Valencia. Or Valentina. I'm going to call her Valentina. That's what I'm going to call her. Anyway, how you doing? 304. It's only me. What's the guy? Oh, that's nasty there. What is that one?
That's a Smith & Wesson. They're calling it the... Oh, God.
The Terminator or something?
The competitor.
Oh, my. What caliber is that? It's
just says
a revolver.
Big. It says it's competing with a .44 Magnum.
Yeah, well, I have the Smith & Wesson 50 caliber Magnum.
It's .44 Magnum.
Yeah, well, I have the 50. Anyway, 304. Sorry, we heard that commercial on the
gave you those nice hearing aids?
Well, no, yeah, what? Exactly. That's why I'm wearing these because exactly the reason. Because I was firing my 50 caliber Smith & Wesson. Oh God, I hate when I do this. The name won't come out.
Godzilla.
No, it's the Smith & Wesson. Oh, God, I hate this.
Murder weapon.
No, anyway, and we were doing it at the range, and I had my earplugs in, but they weren't very good. They were old ones I didn't find out till later, and the sound was so loud that I went partially
it's your fault.
Yeah, it's my own fault.
By the way, did you find Smith & Wesson, after 170 years in Springfield, Mass., is moving to Tennessee.
That's right. And you're saying for the reason we all know.
Yes, we don't know.
Get other woke territories.
Yeah.
And by the way, the taxes in Massachusetts are just...
They're insane.
Anyway, 305. All right, how you doing? Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's Thursday, and we had kind of a meeting today, and I overruled everybody else, and this is probably stupid. But as we get to the show, we start doing the show, we got a million things coming. We were going to talk at length about Hamas and the evacuation flights, and now 27 Americans dead, and whether or not it's inhumane to cut off the power and electricity and some water supplies to the Hamas people to, trying to starve them out. And now they're being called, well, you can't believe how inhumane that is. Gee, would that be worse than chopping off a baby's head and setting it on fire? Babies now, burn, baby, burn is not just an old slogan for an old rock song or a protest from the 60s. They're burning the babies. Talk about not inhuman. Animals don't do that. Anyway, also, somebody outing the bad guys, and some of them are now not apologizing, they're trying to hide. Screw you. This is what you did for years. Remember when the guy made the donation to the police officer and the George Floyd case, and the TV crews came to his house, and they doxed him and outed him because a police officer gave money to the cause against George, and ruined his career. I mean, they've been doxing people like that for years, and now these scumbags are going, well, it's not fair to tell the people who the students' names are because they support, Hamas, and now you're telling them who they are. Yeah, no kidding. You got to tell them who they are the rest of the stinking miserable lives. How about that?
They doxed that Canadian policeman who just gave $10 to the trucker convoy last year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So screw you. You can just eat me. You can all freaking eat me. Oh, you stinking rotten liberals. You stinking rotten phonies.
Anti-Semitic.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, you deserve everything you get. Everything you get. They were doxing people because we support law and order. We're doxing you because you're a scumbag and you're going to go to hell when you die.
Jew-hating bastard.
Yeah, you're a scumbag. You're going to go to hell when you die. So screw you. Jeez. We'll talk about the House stuff and get a Speaker of the House. And
that's what we were going to start with.
No, but now we're going to start with that. And then the guy said, well, and I said, well, I want to start with this. He said, you can't start with that. And I said, I'm starting with this. And we had a big fight in there. And so I win. And so here's what we're going to start with, only because it's...
The thing is, he won the argument, and he kept yelling.
I know.
It's like he won.
Take yes for an answer. I'm sorry. All right,
You've made the sell.
All right, well, here's the story. This is a rather bizarre thing. And I suppose you might have to be a certain age, but almost anyone would recognize the sound we're about to play. In fact, let's just do this first of all. Then we have some kind of bad news.
No, the wrong one.
To get you.
No, wrong one.
No, the wrong one. Right, kill it.
Isley Brothers one.
No, we talked about doing that one first, but okay.
No.
It didn't matter if you win the argument. He's going to play what he wants to play.
See, I didn't win after all.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It's your thing, baby. Do what you want to do. Look out.
I can tell you.
This is the Isley Brothers.
It's a thing.
And the reason we're playing this today, because this is it's a breaking news story. That's why we're kind of leading the show with it. It's not the most important story of the day, but it's a breaking news story, and I didn't feel like talking about dead babies, so we're doing kind of a half-breaking news story, musically, of course. The Isley Brothers founder, named Rudolph Isley, is dead at the age of 84. And I'll get to the reason why here in a moment. But first, he was the founder of the music group, the Isley Brothers. He, with his brothers Ronald, O'Kelly, and Vernon, created the Isley Brothers. In 1955, they went to New York to record music, RCA. Their first single was Shout, became their top hit. We're going to play that later. They have 105 million streams on Spotify. Other hits were Twist and Shout, This Old Heart of Mine, Footsteps in the Dark, and It's Your Thing, which you got in the background there. In 71, the Isley Brothers added more members as the family grew bigger. Brothers Ernie and Marvin and his brother...
that's superfluous.
Okay. Now, they were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992 by Little Richard. Now, the reason that founder Rudolph Isley died at the age of 84 is because he had a fight with his brother Ronald over their trademark. 84 years old, and he's getting in a fight with his brother and dies of a heart attack. 84, and you're fighting with your brother over the trademark? Oh my God! I mean, I'm the second born of 5 kids, and there's one brother in my family who's dead to me. And as far as I'm concerned, I told my daughters, I said, don't you ever try to pull one of these surprise things to try to reunite us or something, because I'll knock them out. And I warned, I said, don't even pretend it, because all this stuff. So, but anyway, he had a fight with his brother, 84 years old, and died after a fight.
I have a brother named Ronald.
Oh, and how do you get along with your brother?
We get along.
Okay, well, there you are.
We're half a country apart, so we get along
Ronald,
great.
yeah, well, that's important. Anyway, so Rudolph Isley, dead at 84 after fighting with his brother. Isley Brothers.
You realize we still didn't play the song we were all talking about.
That's all right. But,
we were going to play the Isley Brothers Twist and Shout, and then compare it
to the different version. But we're not.
We didn't do anything the way we were supposed to.
Well, it's just got a little confusing in here. Everything. Actually, the fact of the matter is, leading up to a show that starts at 3, everything from 6 in the morning, where I am, up until this time, is getting ready for 3 o'clock. Right. And we're doing stuff. I mean, Pete's still looking at the computer, and we're going through the stuff, and Flounder's getting. I mean, it's very hectic in here getting ready for a show. So sometimes we get a little confused. And by the way, who the hell knows what's coming out at 3:04? I don't know what's coming out of my mouth. Who knows?
Nope.
I mean, it's radio, and that's what we do.
We'll do that later. We'll compare the Twist and Shouts later.
It'll be fun. It'll be something to look forward to. Also, speaking of teases, by the way, am I sounding okay? My headphones sound a little funny. Am I okay?
You sound fine. It's just you.
Okay, it's just me then, probably. Thank God.
Funny.
Tomorrow, on Letter Rip Friday, I am going to reveal what came to me. And just remember, a couple of days ago, I had mentioned this before about how many times in rock and roll growing up, the phrase "little girl," "hey little girl," with the little girl got to me kind of thing, and it affected me to this day in some psychological things about women, and I've come to the realization about why Fleetwood Mac has helped me get through a rather emotional situation going on here, and it's because again of a word from the ears of a teenager. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay, now 312. Some good. There is some good news. Oh, by the way, happy birthday to Rich. Do you want to give his last name or not? I don't know if you want to give his last name.
My dad's last. His name is Rich Dundon, and today is his 77th birthday.
Outstanding. And Rich Dundon, by the way, is a decorated Vietnam veteran. And God bless him. Just a really good guy, a nice guy, and we're Facebook friends, and every once in a while I'll see some family stuff and things like that. And are you doing anything tonight with him? Or
he's headed out of town, so we're going to do, when he's back in town Sunday, we're going to do dinner and stuff next week.
Excellent. Well, good. Happy birthday to Rich, and welcome home. As I always say. Almost 3:13. Some good news about the people still in Israel, although it took you a while. Man, what a bunch of freaking idiots! And there's still the administration is still saying, "Well, we don't really have any proof that Iran's behind this." Oh my God! I mean, they think we are stupid. We take it.
We put them in there.
Yeah, that's right. You voted for them. Stop doing that. Oh my God. Anyway, Billy Thing's coming up here with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and it's 3:13 on 106.3 right here. And now this.
Cue the music.
And certainly we'll have this coming up too.
when they find out, it all goes...
Oh, man. Brutal. Pardon me if I walk this way. Can you see the strut down the sidewalk, baby? And also the movie, The Takeoff, satire, and Airplane, when he's in the bar and throws his coat in the air and she's dancing around, twirling her up. The Bee Gees, baby. Are they all dead? I think one's still left. Well, here we go.
The good-looking one.
1999. On the Isle of their birth, the Isle of Man, the Isle of Man issued 6 stamps on this day in 1999 honoring the Bee Gees.
I thought they were Australian.
Their mother had run a local post office on the Isle of Man.
That's English.
I know, and they moved to it. They were Australian. That's where they were raised, but I guess
they're British.
It said they're the island of their birth.
They're Manx, actually. They're Manx, like the cat.
Well, there you are.
M-A-N-X.
It's the Bee Gees. And
so of course, they're half cat?
And of course, John Travolta walking down the street.
They sing like cats.
They do kind of sing.
It does sound like...
Plus, they had the worst teeth. They had Kennedy teeth. The Kennedy family had the worst teeth in America, and the Bee Gees had the worst teeth elsewhere in the world. And poor bastards. I mean, they had the whole jawbone thing going, and then, poor bastards. And they all had terrible luck physically. And anyway.
Yeah, those bullets.
Yeah, there you go. Quick birthday of note here. Kirk Cameron. If you're a lady of a certain age, I'll bet 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you had him in your bedroom, a poster of this guy, Kirk Cameron. I know my daughters did.
He's a good Christian man.
He's a very good Christian man. Kirk Cameron is 53. He was Mike Seaver on Growing Pains, among other things, and he's quite.
You guys ever watch that show? Growing Pains?
No, never.
I watched Left Behind, but I haven't watched.
Was that the one with Tootie or Trudy?
No, that was Facts of Life.
Was that the one where she lost her virginity and they're still complaining about it? I don't. I remember reading about it. I know that
Toady once directed me in my only acting performance, and I got fired from it.
Well, hold everything.
I told it before.
Well, no, wait a minute. Well, I forgot. I'm at the age where I get to hear it again. It's like Well,
here's this segment.
The first time, 321. Well, I want to talk about dead babies.
We'll get to this Israeli thing soon.
I mean, frankly, they were helping them out. We're doing this, but it's a whole thing. So we're not a news operation. We're a talk show, and I want to hear about you and Trudy or Toady.
It's about 2000.
Who's Toady? Tell him who
Toady is the real good. I don't know if she's still good. She was good looking, the black woman on the show, black girl.
On the show, Growing Pains.
No, Field
of Dreams.
No, not Field of Dreams.
Field and
No, what did we just talk about?
Facts of Life.
Facts of Life.
Lord.
Toady.
What was her name? Toady.
It was Tootie, wasn't it?
Tootie Fields.
Tootie, yeah. I'm thinking about Toady. Okay, Tootie.
All right, Tootie.
All right, so Tootie grew up to be a director. She's a director now.
All right,
very well respected. And about 12 years ago, I wasn't working or anything, so I decided, what the hell? They put out things for...
Kim Fields is her name.
Kim Fields.
Now you're talking. Has a boy's name. I remember now.
All right. And what's his name? Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
They were asking for extras down at his those warehouses by Greenbrier Mall, which I hadn't been to since the 70s.
Right, which
that was an eye-opening experience.
Yeah, it's been a little different since you were there.
Is that the one over by Lakewood?
Yeah, down there. By the way, and I went over there. His studios are amazing.
Really? Yeah.
First of all, it's professional. As soon as you walk up, they got a clipboard. Are you here? What's your name? Blah blah. Okay, come on in. You park right over there. It was Class A operation from top to bottom.
I'll bet.
They treated you nice. They fed you everything. Everybody knew what they were doing. You were in the right place at the right time. We stayed there the whole day waiting, for a thing, and I just screwed it.
That's an extra. And so what was your bit?
Okay, basically,
and how did they come to you and say we wanted you to do this, or what happened?
They were doing the show, which was about the fire. It was a black family, the firemen. It was on there for years on one of those WB or something like that.
Okay.
You know the show. It was a black fireman and his family and everything.
Yeah.
They were having a gun buyback program in the church basement.
All right.
That was what the show was about.
Yeah.
And me and a bunch of other people of all races, sizes, and colors and everything were to wait off camera. Yeah. And then one by one, we walk in and with nothing, pretend we had a gun, put the gun down on the table. They hand us a sheet, and then we turn and leave.
Okay.
All right. That's pretty simple, right?
And you don't really have a gun. You're just pretending you have something in your hand, putting it on the table. They give you a thing, and you leave. Okay.
Acting.
And action. Okay.
So the first 3 guys do it. It's all wonderful and great. I do it, and it's my luck. Yeah. We get to the bottom, and I'm just about to turn and walk out. I was this close to a clean getaway, and Tootie yells, "Freeze!"
freeze?
Not cut, but freeze. Now, what do you think should happen then?
They're going to cut to a different angle?
Well, what do you...
Well, you should stop.
Well, you should stop.
Well, you kept walking.
You should.
Oh, my God. You walked right out of everything.
You should.
So they couldn't cut to the action from a different angle to get you walking away.
I turned and walked out. I'm the only one that moved.
So you had to do it all over again, didn't
They had to do it all over again. And this time, I was further back in the line and did not get on camera. So my one chance, I blew it in front of Tootie. In front of Tootie. And it didn't dawn on me till I'm back in the back of the line going, gosh, I'm farther back this time. And there's a couple other people looking at me, and I went, oh, no. It's one of those blinding lights of, oh, my God, what did I just do?
That's so funny.
I had no idea what freeze meant.
Forever, you could have been on,
on the TV, on the cellular. So I had to sit there for the next 3 hours while we were waiting for other scenes, which I was not in any of the other scenes. And it was like people were feeling sorry for me.
What was it, $50 in a meal? Or
I forget how much we got paid.
I think they have to pay us.
But the experience of going down there and watching them do it, and the cast, by the way, of the show came by and thanked each and every one of us. They couldn't have been nicer. It was so well run.
That's great to know. Really, that's a professional.
When they came and shook your hand, you're the guy who didn't freeze.
Yeah, get out. What's your name again for the future?
Who's the white guy over there that blew the scene? Blew the shot.
Oh, Lord.
That's one of the most... You talk about every once in a while, you have that cringe thing where you just remember something.
A lot of them. Yeah.
That's one of mine.
Oh, boy. Well, that's funny. It's 3:25. By the way, our phone number is... If you know what?
What?
Let's do this backwards. Instead of me every day, I say, we love phone. I'm an old-fashioned radio guy. We're an old-fashioned radio guys. We love phone calls. Nobody calls anymore because people don't use their phones to call. It's texting and looking up Google. Okay, so here's our number: 404-741-1230, 741-1230. So I'm going to go in reverse here. Don't call. Okay? Don't call. You know why? Because you're a freaking loser, and you're probably going to say something freaking stupid. And if you do call, I'm going to insult you and make fun of you, and you're going to be wrong. So why would you waste our stinking time?
Reverse psychology.
I'm seriously. 404-741-1230. Erase it from your memory forever. Don't call. Don't put it in your phone. And if you think I wonder what the Kimmer and Pete and Flounder are saying today, well, you want to react to, forget it. Just go stick it somewhere else and write a note and talk about it later when you go to bed.
This reminds me of Professor Backwards.
Yes.
Who unfortunately had that tragic ending.
Well, in the water, he was swimming in the lake, and what happened, Pete?
He was yelling, "Plah, plah,
plah." They drowned because he was yelling "plah." Professor Backwards. By the way, could you imagine some poor bastard in his family driving through town and listening to the radio saying, "Boy, that guy really doesn't like his audience." Imagine talking to his people, listen to him that way. Anyway, just for the record, let's see what happens.
Do you still do that? Because I know we do that. Like I used to love driving across country late at night. Because if you tuned into local radio station, you got a flavor of where you were. And then now it's also homogenized, and it's the same 6 syndicated guys across the entire country. But local radio, it used to be fun to hear the local voices, what they thought was funny, what they thought was interesting.
Oh, you could tell you're driving through the Midwest. Well, again, it's been decades, literally, since I was able to do that, but you could tell in an instant. But if you were in Iowa or, Milwaukee or something other than Chicago.
Well, in Little Rock, when I was young, my grandmother taught me how to listen to baseball games. We could pick up the Kansas City A's and then later the Royals. We could get the Detroit. We got both Chicago teams. We got St. Louis. We got Houston, all because it was so flat out there.
Yeah. Anyway, old-fashioned radio or modern radio too. We like a digital radio too. It's just fine. By the way, Nick Cellini's coming up around 4, a little after 4.
Yes, sir.
And we'll talk about
Could
the
be
Braves
our last
thing.
time talking to him.
Well, again, we got to talk about the Braves. We haven't even talked about the Braves yet. Wow. And Okay, I am a homer. I'm a home guy I support a home team.
Homer.
The only time I'm going to turn on a team I support is if they quit. Is if it looks like they just don't give a damn, then they're gone.
This team ain't going to do
That's the ball game.
No.
But I'm never going to turn on the Braves. They're always, these are the comeback guys, and you can't win every game, clearly. But, at least they're trying. They're doing their thing. Nobody's doing anything on purpose to blow a game or an inning or, make a mistake on leaving a guy in too long or whatever. It's not. not on purpose. So I'm a total Brave supporter still. I'm putting positive energy out there for tonight. And by the way, is this an early game or late game? 8 o'clock game.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy. All right, and by the way, I've blown this whole segment here, too. And also, again, if you want to check out Florida Man Radio, is that what you look up? Shannon Burke?
That's correct.
Shannon Burke Show, Florida Man Radio, and he's going to be talking with us on his show at 6 o'clock after we get off the air. So if you want to tune into him, you can hear us on his show.
And we will replay it tomorrow, more than likely in the 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah,
also, real quick, Kimmer, we got a gentleman by the name of Doug on the line who is also wanted to mention Mike Brooks.
Oh, excellent. Well, then in this case, I will not treat you with the insults I was promising. I was ready to unload on you until you want to talk about Mike Brooks, man. Anyway. Well, welcome, Doug. How you doing, man?
Thank you, sir. Kimmer, about 3 years ago, there's a company down in Carrollton, I think it is, does reloading of bullets, and I've just gone blank on it. And I went down there and I met Mike and Flounder down there, and they autographed a hat from that company. And I'd like to come by in the near future and give it to y'all, since y'all worked with him. If you'd like to have that hat signed by him in the hangman, I'd love to give it to you.
You know who might want that?
Who's that?
His girlfriend.
His girlfriend.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, that would be wonderful. In fact, his girlfriend gave me Mike Brooks's black cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Is that and I've worn. I mean, it's a little big, but I actually can wear. I wear. It's a beautiful, expensive, beautiful black, custom made for Mike Brooks, and she gave it to me because we would love that. That'd be fantastic.
I tell you what, I will give it to you if you'll get it to her.
Oh, that would be. We'll try to make this happen.
Yep, I'll get Doug's information offline, and we'll be in touch for
Doug,
sure.
Thank you so much, my friend. Really?
Take care, sir.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
sir. I will put you on hold. Don't hang up.
We'll get top men on that.
Yeah, staff.
Top men.
Damn it. Anyway, we got actual topics and stories.
Really?
Well, we got this whole Hamas thing there. I suppose we have to mention it at some point, and we will with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. 3:30. Look out. Hold on. How you doing? Look out, it's only me, the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Stand by. Da-da-da-da-da-da. All right, I got to put this on. I got the Stones. Here we go.
We got a bleeder.
I got a bleeder. Got a gusher. Well, I'm shedding. I'm molting. I'm actually molting. We'll get to that. We don't want to know. But you can see I got a thing on there. It's the Rolling Stones. Yeah. 1996.
What year?
1996. After 28 years since its creation, the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus was finally released. It was a 1968 event put together by the Stones, comprised of 2 concerts on a circus stage. It included performances by The Who, Taj Mahal, Marianne Faithfull, and Jethro Tull. John Lennon and Yoko Ono performed as part of a supergroup called the Dirty Mac.
Yeah.
Again, this is in 1996.
And who played guitar in that?
Along with Eric Clapton. Yeah. Mitch Mitchell and Keith Richards. It was originally planned to be aired on the BBC TV in 1968, and it wasn't released until 1996.
You know why?
28 years. It doesn't say here, and I think you told me once, and I forgot.
The Stones had a little, some of them doing a little drugs, something like that, and they didn't like their performances, and the Who kicked their ass.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, I assume you've seen it or
seen parts of it.
And
the thing with just John Lennon singing "Your Blues" from the White Album with Eric Clapton behind him and Keith Richards. Holy cow!
Yeah. Again, that's it was 28 years later. That's kind of astounding. Quick birthday, other than Mr. Flounder Sr., Rich, 77, decorated Vietnam vet. Welcome home, sir. Chris Wallace is 76 today. How could I ever forget? When he was in he was in New Orleans for one of the big conventions back in the 70s, and he was with this crew for NBC, and or maybe it was it must have been 70s, and he was a young kid by then, Mike Wallace's kid, Chris Wallace, and so they were talking about the crew was up there, and one of the crew members, the local crew guy, said, "Okay, Chris, we need you to stand by over there," and he said, "Oh, that's Mr. Wallace." I guess, yeah, right, okay, fine. It was Mr. Wall. He was like 28, 24 or something.
Need you to move your
desk back over there.
My stapler.
Somebody
come back
get that from me there.
Burn the place down to the ground. Come back
and let's see. On this day, 1960, I remember this. We talked about it in prep school. Nikita Khrushchev goes nuts at the United Nations General Assembly, so he takes off his shoe and starts pounding the desk with it. We will bury you. Remember the headlines that came out?
How'd that work out for you?
Oh, my God. Nikita Khrushchev. 1960.
How's that Disneyland trip working out for you, Nicky?
Man, there was no Disney World. It was only Disneyland, and he wanted to go more than anything, and they said, to security, there's no way, and man, he just went nuts, ballistic.
By the way, I just read a story this morning, somebody just grading Disneyland, saying it is so decrepit. It's so falling apart out there. Yeah,
I'll bet. Is the one in California? Yeah. I'll bet. For one thing, it's California, and secondly, customer service and things. People aren't around to do the things people. Disneyland and Disney World, if you've ever been there, at least years ago, there's not a scrap of paper on the grounds anywhere. I mean, there used to be. That there were sweepers and cleaners everywhere you looked. There was never any litter. There was never a Kleenex on. I mean, it was spotless.
But by the way,
who's got money to take care of that now?
Customer service. I went saw my doc today at Piedmont Hospital downtown.
Yeah.
You talk about that professional. I mean, for everybody was nice. Everybody was friendly, from the person doing the parking to the doctors to the nurses to the people checking you in and everything. And he says, "Yeah, I'll give you something for that kidney stone pain, something like that." They already, within minutes, they had already contacted my pharmacy up in the mountains and already had it ready to go. And I didn't even have to call and ask them. That's a
good sign.
It is a very great customer service. I'm very happy with it.
You want to give his name out, or? If you're a doctor,
should I give my doctor's name?
I don't know.
I don't know. Would he want his doctor? Would he want his name mentioned on this show?
He's probably fine.
I don't know if he'd like his name mentioned.
I think you just answered your question.
He's probably going to be fine.
I don't know if he's a listener.
They heard you on the Kimmer show. Is that? I don't think I could be affiliated with you anymore, doctor. If you got
get like a voicemail,
yeah, doctor.
I've gotten 7 cancellations because of your.
I want the correct diagnosis.
No, yeah, fine. Yeah, what kidney stone? You have another kidney stone?
He thinks either that or I pulled a muscle or something. This is the longest one, 2 weeks.
You better be hoping it's a pulled muscle because you did that once before. It was no.
This is the 4th bout with it, if it is.
Well, then you're eating too much ice cream or something.
Of course I am. Am I going to stop? No.
Well, is that what they blame it on?
Dairy, probably.
Yeah, dairy.
Dairy, probably.
Lack of water.
341.
I try and drink water.
No, I'll bet nobody. I'll bet you hydrate a lot because you're like an working out guy. And you're young.
Because I don't drink soft drinks. I drink
one
cup of coffee in the morning, and then I drink water and beer and wine.
When I was running 12 miles a day. I would drink water all day. I mean, gallons of it all day. And I realize now I don't drink very much water. Look, I still do all at night. But
I bet Mickey Schulstein made you drink water.
He did, absolutely. But I realize now I bring in 1 bottle of water here to the radio station, and in 3 hours I maybe finish it.
The problem is I can't sit here and swill water for 3 hours and then drive an hour and a half.
Well, that's true. Plus, I can't be going down to the bathroom.
By the way, I almost drove over on the side of 75 and just let everybody see today.
What?
By about Woodstock, I had to go, and I got stuck in traffic on 75, and it was
pretend you're changing a tire. No, I'm serious. Pull over to the side of the road.
I have
kneel
no tire
down
to pull out.
Well, they don't know that. They'll be whizzing by on the other side of the road. They're not going to see you on the right of your car.
Right there.
Well, you're whizzing on the side of the road, pretending you're changing a tire or looking under the hood. In the meantime,
that's another joke. I can't look under the hood. There's nothing there.
Well, they don't know that. See, you're fine.
The best thing, they go, "Where's your engine?" I go, "It doesn't have an engine. It's electric."
Yeah,
and for a second, they believe that it doesn't have an engine. It's electric.
Oh God. Anyway, 343. I promise you, we have actual. Let's do a little actual news. Now. There is some good news. America finally got off its ass from the president, the scumbag, and his friends in Washington, and they announced that they're going to be evacuating Americans who want to leave Israel as war rages with Hamas. So now they're going to finally make some plans. They're going to do at least 4 charter flights every day out of Israel. We know that 14 American citizens are unaccounted for. 27 are dead, at least 27. There are probably 150,000 Americans or more in Israel, 600 American citizens working in Gaza, by the way. The ground routes are open to leave Israel, but their options are not feasible or affordable for a lot of Americans in there. So anyway, they're working on it. Israeli officials have yet to start their ground invasion, but they're planning for it. They've called 300,000 reservists into action in Israel. And the president, Joe Slime Sleep, showers with daughter, and Vice President Shiftless and Lazy joined together on Air Force Two, going to Vegas to meet with fundraisers while they forgot there was something happening in the Middle East. Anyway, reaction from around the world. Social media is going nuts. We'll talk more stuff coming up about a reaction on college campuses and how business people are going. We told you about the guy at Harvard. Well, there's more in New York City. There's all over the place. We'll get to that, too. And before we continue, another thing to remember, they apparently are blocking the $6 billion fund.
Good for them.
Which is good. But they're still apparently still claiming there's no direct evidence that Iran was in control of this whole thing. So they're trying to do the right thing without offending the Iranians. I mean, you believe they're trying to do the right thing for America without offending our enemy. Okay. Dear God. Anyway.
Well, you actually did so many teases, we don't have time now to do the actual story.
Next then we'll have James Woods might be.
No. This is for what's going on. We told you yesterday about the airline pilot for Air Canada.
Oh, the Friday.
He was a crazy Palestinian, and he was flying into Tel Aviv.
Yeah,
they've taken him off.
Yeah.
There's some other stuff going on, too.
All right. And by the way, tomorrow could be a very bad day, not only because it's the 13th on a Friday.
How about today and Saturday? Because I think, they're looking for ours tomorrow. How about we do it today or Saturday?
All right, that's all coming
Don't be in a major city.
Quarter. Oh, well, thank God.
Not me. I won't be here tomorrow.
Thank God we're not in a major. Oh, wait a minute. 3:45 is with the Kimmer Pete.
I'll say a prayer for you.
Goodbye, everybody. Yo, look out.
Can a love that lasted for so long still endure?
Yeah, baby. Andrew! The B-52s, baby. And I just had a bad remembrance, too. Never mind. 1985 on this day. Ricky Wilson of the B-52s died of complications from AIDS. The B-52s had the 1990 British number 2 and number 3 American single, Love Shack. And they had a couple of big songs.
Great song.
Yeah.
Rock Lobster?
Yeah, Rock Lobster. Was a red new, or no, where she's talking about being pregnant. The last word.
Tin roof rusted.
Tin roof rusted, yeah. That which meant that her girlfriend was pregnant and didn't want to announce it or something.
I always thought they meant they were drunk. But
yeah, but she said it meant there was a secret pregnancy.
You know who was a big fan of theirs that discovered their music and loved them a lot?
Who?
John Lennon.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Right.
The late Kara Stockton was a big fan of the B-52s as well.
I remember that.
I wish I'd seen him more in concert because he used to hang out at a house where I had some friends who lived down on North Avenue back in 1980, and they used to drop by every now and then.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Love Tractor used to come by, all those bands in Athens.
Birthdays, Hugh Jackman is 55. Do you think he's more appreciated for his role as Wolverine or his musicals?
Wolverine. He says he's also, some say he's out doing the town, he's playing the field.
I don't
think. Okay.
Well.
Good PR right there.
There you go. Let's
the
see.
Field.
In 2005, what?
Playing the field.
I don't get the joke.
What does that mean? What does that even mean?
What is he like?
Playing the field. He's Mr. Single Guy, bachelor boy now.
Is he a bachelor boy now?
Yeah, remember he divorced the wife from like 30 years older.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, oh, my God.
If he comes here, I'm sure he'll go to like Swingin' Richards or something like that.
Oh, I see now the
What's
entire
Swingin'
issue.
Richards there, Flounder?
Well, I used to live by there because when I used to live in West Midtown, I'd have to go down
Wow. You can hear North Avenue. You can hear hear the screams coming out of the upper windows.
Well, that was behind the Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
I have a story that I can't tell. If we were doing the podcast, I could tell the story, but I can't tell it.
You can't clean it up a little?
We were walking from my friend's house,
Come
I just
on.
mentioned.
Give us a story.
To the Krispy Kreme, and it was summer, and everybody had the windows down, and this was back in 1981.
Yeah.
The neighborhood was not like it is now.
No, it's a different neighborhood
It wasn't gentrified that much.
It's all nice now. A wonderful place now.
And the gays were just moving in there.
It's a wonderful, wonderful game.
And there's a couple guys doing things very loudly.
There you are.
In full view of the entire street. And then we just want a donut. Just let us walk through.
I told you, my cameraman, when I was in San Francisco for 2 years, was a screaming, flaming. I loved it. He's just a great guy, Mike. He was a Harley rider.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Anyway, and he used to drive me by these places where he said, now listen, as you drove by the street, he said, this is where we have our meetings on Thursdays or something. He look at the lights in the basement driving. You can hear the screaming coming out of the basement. God.
I just want to know that.
Let's see. I'll save that. I don't care about that. All right. Now, a couple things. Pete, David, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder is 3:52. Our sports update on the Braves with Nick Lee coming up, and now major stuff.
All right. Ezra Levant is a great follow on there. He's an independent journalist up there against Trudeau, been fighting Trudeau. Big supporter of the trucker convoy last year. He's one of those that pointed out yesterday that Air Canada was flying a Palestinian who had done all kinds of anti-Jewish stuff.
He had flags on his shirt,
on social media,
the whole deal.
And everything. So Air Canada, Flounder pointed out yesterday, they've taken him off the Tel Aviv route at least.
Yeah.
Thank God. Well, Ezra is thinking about going to a synagogue Saturday.
Oh.
And he says, hey, Toronto police, I'm sorry to interrupt, but could you please deploy some different police to protect my synagogue this week? And he posted a couple of the policemen there in Toronto. One named Mustafa Ramanzada. And he's posted something that basically says, how can you inflict the same torture that your own people suffered? May Allah destroy the oppressors. And he's got Hitler. Then he's got somebody changing in Hitler. And then it becomes Netanyahu.
Oh, my.
So Netanyahu, once again, is Hitler.
Yeah.
And then there's another guy named Shemuel Mian who works in the Toronto police. And he posted basically a cartoon showing the Gaza Strip, and everybody on the Gaza Strip has been broken into pieces. The human bodies, they've been completely disembodied, like they did to the Jewish babies.
Trophies,
But no, according to this cartoon, it was the Gazans that this happened to, the Palestinians.
Oh, the poor Gazans.
And meanwhile, on the Israeli side, you have an Israeli baby crying, and they have the CNN and BBC is looking at the crying baby and totally ignoring those poor Palestinians on the other side.
The real victims,
So there, Scott Adams, Dilbert guy.
Dilbert,
There could be peace in the Middle East tomorrow if Israel negotiated in good faith with Hamas and agreed to accept a reasonable level of murder per year. The way America does with the cartels. America tells the cartels, you can't kill more than 100,000 of us per year with your fentanyl. And it works. You don't see us going to war. I don't understand why more countries don't follow our lead on this.
What a great way to put it.
That's great.
Let's get a limit, and everybody's happy.
Everybody.
Well, except the dead people, but sure,
God. Kristen has a bone to pick with you.
Oh, to me? Our friend Kristen,
Kristen.
Oh, Kristen.
Yeah. She basically... Yesterday, remember the Allison Hannigan story you told?
Do. She and her girlfriend got married on a certain day or something or other, and I think that's...
Didn't.
Oh, they didn't?
She married somebody named Alexis, Kimmer.
Alexis, yeah.
A boy named Alexis. You, of all people, should know not to do that.
He's got a girl's name?
He's got a girl's name.
God. Oh, so in other words.
Don't you feel bad?
Well, I'm kind of surprised because everybody had the hots for her on that stupid TV show.
She is cute.
Little redhead.
Cute little redhead. Yes. There's something about
anyway,
her. She's
all right, so she's married. All right. So did I say something bad?
You said she married her girlfriend. It wasn't true.
Okay.
She married a boyfriend.
I apologize for the lack of factual accuracy. I was wrong about that, and I shouldn't. I was also wrong about assuming
her gender.
Name by gender. You're absolutely right. With a name like mine,
all the time I get Noel. It's like, does it look like it's got an L and E in the end of it?
You just admitted your first name is Noel.
Everyone knows my first name.
Well, I'm not sure they all know. They all know now.
Well, I remember one time I had to. I was forwarding your email to McFarland when this was all starting, and he goes, "Is Pete's name Noel?"
oh, really? Is it
Noel? Anyway, names are visible.
And it's always, you're born around Christmas. No.
No, not really.
Any more questions you want to ask?
Oh, poor baby. Like you've had a problem with your name, your life.
Well, just
you know how many times I was
your name from?
Oh, I was heartbroken.
It was my grandfather's name.
Bawling my eyes out and embarrassed and humiliated in front of God and everybody for having, quote, a girl's name on every list my whole life.
Ask me where I got Pete from, Flounder.
Didn't you give it? You gave it to yourself.
I broke the rule. You're not supposed to give yourself your own nickname.
What age did you do this?
My sister had her own name. My brother had his own name, and I got named after everybody else. My grandfathers and father. And after 5, 6 years old, I said, wait a second. Wait, why has everybody else got a name and I got y'all's name? And so I refused to answer to my name for about 2 weeks. And they finally said, all right, pick a name. And I think because of Pete Rose, I chose Pete.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. That'd be about, 1980 or something in that area?
Yeah, I was born in 1970 through Kimmer.
Well, you were born probably 1962. 60.
No.
50? You weren't born in 1950?
No, 61.
61, yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Actually, so I was probably more closer to 7 then, because Rose wasn't around toward the end of the 60s.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway. A couple of philosophical questions.
When I was a kid, for whatever reason, I wanted to be named Toby.
Toby, maybe after Roots.
Which is like more of a fat kid's name.
Roots?
And?
What about Roots?
No.
The TV series Roots?
Yeah,
Toby?
Toby, that's what it was known for.
Yeah.
It was a nickname for a lot of African-American young men, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Back in the day, not recently.
Not now.
Don't say anything.
No.
That's not.
You don't want to.
That's right.
The whole black name. No, sir.
Actually, my parents got my name from a black football player.
Really?
Yeah. Flounder?
What player? Do you know the player?
Let me text my dad and he'll tell me. But
Brent.
And tell him happy birthday for the Kimmer Show. We're having
I don't know any black football players or any football players named Brent.
No.
Sit tight.
No. What? Well, my goodness. I have a philosophical question. Tomorrow is a day of jihad, apparently. The jihadists are calling tomorrow the Friday the 13th, a day of jihad. And Pete mentioned, so people maybe are targets the day before and the day after, major cities and stuff like that. New York City's on full alert. Cops have been canceled, everything else. You're all on full do. I mean, there are people taking precautions.
But the border's still open.
Oh, well, you don't want to close the border to our little brown friends, our future Democrats. Silly rabbit. Let me ask you this. They're burning babies, okay? They're burning babies. Do we turn the other cheek? Is that even a discussion for anybody? It's something this this is subhuman. Animals don't do this. I mean, this is subhuman. And by the way, can you imagine the assignments? Okay, Khalid, you're the newcomer. You have to slice a head off of 12 babies. I want to do the raping. All right. I'll tell you what. You do 4. You slice a head off 4 babies, and you get 1 rape. Okay, and Mohammed Labahmed, you're going to be in charge of butchering all the old men. I always have to butcher the old men. Shut up. Okay, sorry. I mean, this is to make assignments. They did it on purpose. It wasn't an accident. They said, I forgot. I accidentally chopped off this baby's head. They went into homes looking to do it.
They took 1 baby out of a womb.
Yeah, there you go.
Brent Cunningham went to Georgia Tech.
Well, there you are. Happy birthday, Rich. It's 4 o'clock. And by the way, Nick Cellini's coming up in a few minutes with our Talk About the Braves with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Have fun. There we go. Stand by. Look out.
When you were my
Oh, we're on. We're back. It's 4:03. Look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete and Flounder. Da, 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 da. Is this Fleetwood Mac?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Tusk.
Tusk.
Wow. Now, so you guys know that. And it's funny because Fleetwood Mac has saved me from doing some really bad things. Yeah. I know tomorrow I'm gonna have a little fun with it. But Fleetwood Mac, and of course you guys know more about Fleetwood Mac than I ever will. But to me, the emotional link is really astounding. Something weird happened to me. Anyway, 1979, Fleetwood Mac released their 12th album, Tusk, an experimental set of songs. I knew it. That cost the band $1 million to record. The double album peaked at number 4 in America, sales in excess of 2 million, spawning 2 top 10 singles, Sarah.
That's a great song.
And the title track, Tusk. Is that this Tusk?
Tusk. The video, they're with the Southern Cal Marching Band on Dodger Stadium. I think Dodger Stadium,
Really?
or is it USC's, not the Rose Bowl, the other one.
I'm not
the
sure.
Coliseum. It's one of those
The video
stadiums.
for Tusk?
They got the Trojan Marching Band with them.
No kidding.
That's the drums you hear in the background.
Sarah was like her best friend who died of cancer, I think.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. I love that song.
Now,
Yeah,
I know Sarah by Chicago or whatever, but
Barely
not
get it.
Sarah. Huh?
Yeah, put that on his stick. He'd like that. That's a very beautiful. It's
and
just her and the drummer Mick Fleetwood. That's
The
beautiful.
title track, Tusk, reached number 1 in Britain and went platinum.
Not that great an album, to tell you the truth. It was the beginning of the end for
all
them.
I know is I'm actually hooked. I mean, I'm having a whole thing on, and it's because of one word.
50 years too late.
50 years too late. It's true. 50 years too late. And, yeah.
Well, some of them are still around. Lindsay's still here. Stevie's with us. John's still with us. And Mick.
Oh, I've heard this song.
Sarah.
Oh, I know this song.
Just her.
Again, you know why I didn't know the title? Because radio stations never had the titles when they played the song. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you the truth. I will play this. I know that. This is a good song. I'm not going to put it on my magic music stick. I've got 7 on there now that are exactly what I want.
Okay.
Fine, then I won't play it.
It's on mine.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Just kidding.
No. Anyway. Oh, my God. Almost 4:06. A quick birthday of note. By the way, let me know.
Nick's not having to hear this, is he?
Is he calling? When he calls in, we'll put him on if he's whenever he calls. Let's see. I had a birthday here I wanted to give you. Well, it doesn't matter. Here we go. Josh Hutcherson. He played PETA in the Hunger Games, and it was also on Future Man. Josh Hutcherson is 31. I don't know if anybody knows that.
Nobody
Hunger
does.
Games. Did you ever see the Hunger Games movies? I saw.
I saw the first one. That was it.
Yeah, and I read the first book. I think I read the first 2 books. Very just creepy. Creeped me out. And on this day in history, let's see. 2005, Lost TV superstar Josh Holloway was robbed at gunpoint in his home. The guy got away with cash and credit cards, used Holloway's Mercedes-Benz as his getaway car. The guy got caught and sent to 30 years in prison.
Talk about falling off the planet. What has he done lately?
Yeah, and nothing. What happened? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, it's 4:07 with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. And whenever Nick Cellini calls in, we'll be talking with him about the Braves and the game tonight, which is an 8:07 game, I guess. All right, a couple things. The Israeli officials, their Israeli minister says no business with no power, no water, no fuel to the Gaza entire territory until you free the hostages, period. Well, the energy minister says no electrical switches will be off, no water hydrant will be open, no fuel truck will enter until the hostages are free. The United Nations condemned the Israeli bombardment as collective punishment as a war crime. Oh, my God. Anthony Blinken's pretending to be a strong guy, showing that little pimp, the dweeby little pimp, showed up with Netanyahu to pretend to be strong. Fighter jets are attacking houses in several areas. Civil defense groups are recovering bodies, rubble everywhere, looking with their bare hands for survivors. And again, the thing today was now they're still claiming that nobody really cut the heads off all those babies. Well, we know that's not true. However, the latest thing today was, starting this morning, we hear now that actually they're finding the bodies of babies who have been set on fire. I mean, and again, it was deliberate. There was nothing about a response to something or an accident or, somebody went nuts. It was a deliberate plan. They had to have somebody was in charge of cutting off babies' heads. Somebody was in charge of raping the women. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, they deliberately set out to do it. It was a plan.
It was a final solution. It was as well planned as the Nazis planned their atrocities.
I mean, I literally can't believe it.
Someone pointed out a good sign. He says, you want to know who the good guys and the bad guys are? Which side would Hitler be applauding right now?
Yeah. And how about college? We'll get to the college students, too. First of all, here's a good example. Harper's Bazaar editor-in-chief, a magazine owned by Hearst Company. The editor-in-chief of Harper's Bazaar is a girl named Samira Nazir. Her father's Lebanese, her mother's Trinidadian, and she says, cutting off the water and electricity to 2 million civilians, it's the most inhumane thing I've seen in my life. Gee, you mean that's worse than... Well, here's some of the reaction. Cutting off their electricity, Hamas, is the most inhumane thing she's ever seen. Wow, really? That's more humane, so murder, rape, and beheading is not? Anyways, have we got Nick on the phone?
Yep.
Oh, good, because I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'd rather talk about Bryce Harper, staring down our Braves player as though that's now the end of the freaking world or something. Hold everything. It's Nick Cellini from 680 The Fan with Pete Davis and Flounder, and it's only the Kimber. Nick, how's it going, man? And oh my God, I don't even want to talk about last night, but I guess we better. What do you think, and what's your reaction today?
I will say this: Bryce Harper staring down Orlando Arcia sure pales in comparison to what you were just talking about. That's for sure.
Yeah, not everything is a thing.
Perspective.
Yeah, well, again, what did we say initially when we first had this conversation prior to the series? It was going to go 5.
Yeah.
And I still think it's going to be the same thing. I think the Braves are going to win tonight, and we're going to see Game 5 at Truist Park on Saturday. Everybody's worst nightmare was realized yesterday with Bryce Elder on the mound. It looked so good to begin with, but when it ended quick. And unfortunately, our manager, Brian Snicker, didn't seem to be prepared. There was no plan B. There should have been a plan B, C, D, and E, but he just kind of sat there and let it happen.
I can't remember a time when Snicker has come under more fire in one series for the Game 1 lineup change, for the Bryce Elder and the bullpen screw-up last night. He's like managing like Bobby Cox used to, that in the playoffs, it's got to be different than June 2nd.
Yeah, he's done a lot of things in this series. Even in the game they won, it was the first time all year he brought in Raciel Iglesias to close with a man on base, and that almost backfired on him. They almost got swept if not for that great play by Michael Harris. I guess the old adage is if you manage long enough in this game, sooner or later, you're going to be second-guessed. Unfortunately for Snit, he's been second-guessed seemingly throughout this series.
Yeah, it was kind of it's very surprising. And I was telling Pete earlier, I'm totally a home guy. I'm a homer guy. If a team quits on on those fans, then they can all kiss my butt. But these guys have. I love this team. I love the attitude. I love they're still playing like they care and they want to do this, and I'm all in favor of them. And what's going to have to happen tonight? And do you have any kind of a lineup cue, things we should look for, something that might be a key to the game for tonight's game?
I just think they've been so good scoring early in games, and I think they really need to do that tonight. Now, it won't guarantee anything against this Phillies lineup, as potent as it is, but I think it'll maybe give the Braves some confidence because I think they're pressing for the first time all year. To a certain extent, it's almost like Philadelphia is in their heads, and I think you get a chance to quiet that crowd if you score early. They scored more first-inning runs than anybody else by far in baseball. Yeah. That's the thing to look for tonight, and maybe, just maybe, that'll loosen up Spencer Strider a little bit. They were chanting his name at the end of the game doing the mock chop, so they're having a lot of fun at the Braves' expense. Unfortunately, the Braves and their fans had to eat it yesterday. Let's hope that's not the case today.
Now, Eric O'Flaherty, the former Braves pitcher, came out and said, look, Harper didn't hit those 2 home runs because of Arcia making a joke.
Yeah.
He hit it because there were 2 hanging breaking balls coming in there. Did the sports writer, though, who actually reported the so-called joke, did he break some kind of clubhouse code by saying that? Because the Braves are kind of acting like he did.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope because you have to look at it this way. Let's say after a game when the Phillies came back and won, and somebody was in the Phillies clubhouse and Bryce Elder said something. I think it would leak out, especially in today's day and age when you think about clicks and likes and social media.
Yeah.
I understand what Travis d'Arnaud said. He was trying to protect his teammate, but I think, again, if the shoe's on the other foot, you got to think that it would probably have come out either way, but was it a big deal? No. But do great players use any little thing to fuel themselves? Absolutely. And case in point with Harper staring him down twice. Didn't agree with the throat slash. I don't think anybody agreed, and I think he needs to address that and maybe say he was sorry about that, especially with what you guys were talking about earlier in this day and age with everything going on in the world. That's not the time or the place to do something like that. But yeah, Bryce Harper got fired up, but I agree with Eric O'Flaherty. He hit those home runs because he's a great player.
Well, and they also pitched to him. How could you possibly throw a ball that he could hit? Throw the damn thing, like an inch away from his freaking nose, where it's got to be high and inside. And even if he hits it, it's going to go dibbly-dobbling off the freaking handle. My God, man! I mean, just walk him. Just say 4, Your Honor, and go to first. Have a ball over there. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. That's not your fault. No, but sure. And one more thing, and I will hog this time for a second. That throat slash thing, I don't think that's gotten anywhere near as much play as it should. I thought that was basically a no-no for every sport and everybody, period. I thought that was, so far now condemned that nobody would do it. And especially, I guess maybe he doesn't know the news because he's a jock, but doesn't he know that babies' heads were cut off? And he didn't think that maybe there would be a slashing thing, might be bad. I can't believe it. And he really better address it because to me, it's just vicious and cold and cruel and like he doesn't give a damn about anything, including what's going on right now. Anyway, just my opinion.
Yeah, well, if you do that in the NBA, if you do that in the NFL, you're going to get fined.
You're
and we'll
right,
see if Bryce Harper gets fined for that.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, and Pete, you can back me on this. I think of all of the major sports, I don't think the baseball players are the brightest in the world as far as knowing everything that's going on. I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce Elder had no idea right now what's going on in the Middle East. It's unfortunate, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I think he has a very small world view because that's his view right now is baseball. That is what he's focused on. Family and baseball. I think there's only 2 things he really cares about. And the sad thing about all this, if the Braves do go down again to the Phillies, 2 years running, they could have gone straight to the World Series just about without facing the Dodgers. Yeah. And here we are. We're going to blow it again.
Yeah, well, not if they win tonight. I'm still holding out some hope. If they lose tonight, obviously it's over. Let's see if they can just the old adage is what, 1 game at a time. Yeah. Figure out a way to get it done tonight. Come back home with Max Fried. Maybe he worked out some of that rust in Game 2, and who knows? Maybe Arizona comes to town after that on Monday evening. We've got our fingers crossed.
Yeah, again, I was so worried about Arizona. They got a chip on their shoulder. They don't give a damn about anybody. It's like the bully on the block all of a sudden and saying, we don't care who you are, we're coming to get you. I was more nervous about Arizona, especially at what they just did to the Dodgers. Holy smokes.
Yeah, I asked you yesterday what you thought was going to happen with the Dodgers if they got swept again. That was totally embarrassing.
Yeah. With Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman and
Mookie?
And the leadoff man, Mookie Betts, they want to combine 1 for 15 in the series. Freddie Freeman had the only hit. It was an infield hit. So
I feel bad for him, actually.
That speaks volumes as to where the Dodgers are and why nothing's guaranteed in the postseason.
Yeah. Nick, final thoughts as we go. I think they're going to win tonight. I feel good. It's the Braves. They do this all year long. They do something stupid and then come back and score 3 in the first inning. So,
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Kimmer. I said it was going 5 from the get-go, and I'll stick to my prediction. I think they find a way to get it done tonight, and we'll talk about the Game 5 matchup tomorrow when I call in.
Outstanding. Nick Cellini, 680 The Fan. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Say hi to Chris and the boys. 417 with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and Nick. Look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. With Pete Davis and Flounder, 422. And it was on this day, 1978, living at the Chelsea Hotel in New York City. Sex Pistol Sid Vicious called the police to say that somebody had stabbed his girlfriend, Nancy Spungen.
Who could have done that?
Well, I don't know. He was arrested and charged with killing her and placed in the detox unit of the New York prison. Sid Vicious never made it to trial, though, because he died of a heroin overdose before the case ever went to court. Sid Vicious on this day in 1978. By the way, speaking of famous rock and roll people, Sam Moore. Part of the Sam and Dave rock and roll R&B legend, Hall of Famer. Sam Moore is 88 today. They sang Soul Man long before the Blues Brothers made it
I listened to that, the Blues Brothers version on the way in this morning.
They did a great version of it, actually.
They did.
And by that whole choreography scene with James Brown in the church and stuff, that's classic.
Great movie.
That was a great movie.
It was.
And what's the Star Queen girl from Star
Carrie
Trek?
Fisher.
Carrie Fisher blowing up the bill. I mean,
with the bazooka.
Hysterical.
Yeah, the RPG.
I mean, how funny is that? You know. Anyway, one quick historical note here. 1945, Private First Class Desmond T. Ross was presented with a Congressional Medal of Honor for intrepidity in action for his work as a corpsman. The first time the nation's highest award for bravery was given to a conscientious objector.
Made it into a pretty good movie with Andrew Garfield.
Yep.
But Mel Gibson directed it.
That's right.
Have you seen it?
I've seen I didn't see the whole thing for some reason. I forgot the name of the damn thing. Oh crap! I can't remember.
It was almost like Sergeant York. He came out of the hills.
Yeah.
But Sergeant York actually fought. So.
Yep. 424. Okay. By the way, speaking of rock and roll. We
got breaking news. Dead person. Not that breaking news. You have to play this out. Lois Lane has died.
The girl who played Lois Lane?
One of them.
On TV? Or
the first
the movies?
season of The Adventures of Superman with George Reeves, there was a lady by the name of Phyllis Coates, very beautiful
remember
woman.
her.
Looked like Nancy Reagan. Looks
Right.
like Nancy Reagan.
Yeah. Now, as I remember...
96 years old.
Oh, wow. Now, I remember her, and then they replaced her with the other actress who did it for years.
What was her name? Noel Neal?
Yeah,
Neil
something like
Noel,
that.
something like that. Yeah, and everybody remembers her.
And but now this one...
Yeah, she went crazy.
She went... I think she did some other things, though, didn't she?
No, that's Margot Kidder. You're thinking of the movie version.
This is
Yeah.
the old TV show version from the 50s, where Clark Kent just put on glasses and they didn't know he was Superman.
That's right. And he'd jump on a little trampoline and jump out of the window.
Right, off he goes, with his little suit.
I loved that show as a kid.
Oh,
though.
I was
reruns.
Superman. My next door neighbor, Susie Graves, would have me come over, and I would put a blanket on my neck as a cape to play Superman when I was like 7. At Susie Graves' house, and they knew it. Here comes Superman, and I go over and march over to her house as Superman, and she would, oh my God, she would make me cookies in the Betty Crocker light bulb oven.
Yeah, it took forever.
It was
to cook.
actually an oven with a light bulb, and it would cook cookies.
Amazing. By the way, how much do you think she got paid doing the show? Well, how much she got paid?
$50 a month, or something.
She got $350 a show.
Well, that's
not
a lot
bad
back
work for the
then.
50s. Not bad work for the 50s and everything. And she said that they did like 30 shows that first season, and they did them like bang, 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 bang right in a row.
Yeah.
She wore the exact same outfit in every one.
Oh, my God. Well, in black and white, you wouldn't be able to tell really anyway. It was a business suit. She was a reporter, so she wore a suit with a skirt. And oh, my God.
Great Caesar's ghost.
And so what's her name again?
Phyllis Coates.
Phyllis Coates passed away at 96.
She was also in I Was a Teenage Frankenstein.
I'll be damned. Anyway, and speaking of, and again, we'll talk about the Hamas thing and the stuff and the people complaining about it. And imagine his poor father talking about his girl daughter. Anyway, and the ISIS flag and a bunch of things. 426. First of all, another a news story broke out late this afternoon. One of the Isley Brothers founders, Rudolph Isley, has passed away at the age of 84. And he had a heart attack. And they didn't want to say much about the cause of death, although one source has said, he died because at 84 years old, he had a fight with his brother over the group's trademark. The Isley Brothers founder, 84-year-old Rudolph Isley, dead after fighting with his brother over the group's trademark symbol. Mercy.
Now we're going to compare. Who's that lady?
Their songs included This Old Heart of Mine, Footsteps in the Dark, It's Your Thing, This Old Lady. My beautiful lady.
I think this is an Anchorman, too.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. It
one.
was. That's right. Absolutely right. It was. And of course, Shout was their big top hit. And Flounder, do we have that? Twist and Shout?
No, Twist and Shout is what we want to talk about.
All right. Shout was their first single, but Twist and Shout was also one of their top hits.
Let's hear their version.
And we have their version of Twist and Shout. This is the Isley Brothers from the 50s, early 60s, maybe. Twisted, baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very sedate compared to the Beatles.
Well, let's compare it to the Beatles. This is the Isley Brothers, and now Flounder by the magic of the fingers of our mechanical mangler. And listen to the screaming, too. It's important. I like this better.
Yeah, me too. I like them both.
I really do like this better.
I think it's Lennon's voice just screaming like that.
Well, there's a story behind it.
Yeah. And
he said Lennon felt ashamed when he heard it. He says, let's try and do it again. He says, I can sing better than that. He says, toward the end of his life, he said, it didn't bother me to listen to it, but at first he hated it. And he wanted to do a second take, but his voice was gone from screaming that loud. Screaming that loud. According to Mark Lewison, who has written a lot of stuff about rock and roll, says this version in Lennon is arguably the most stunning rock and roll vocal and instrumental performance of all time.
This was a much better
Ringo's
song.
drums.
Yeah.
And not only that, I'm assuming everything was recorded live then, not multi-tracked or anything like that.
62? Probably right.
Wow.
And then you always think of Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller. It's been in a lot of things.
64, I think. The 1964 they did. Yeah.
Hear him screaming. Yeah.
He said,
Right there.
Wow, yeah.
says, I'm just a frantic guy doing his best.
Wow. Anyway, that's the Beatles, and it was the Isley Brothers founder, Rudolph Isley, passed away at 84 after fighting with his brother over the trademark for the group. Unbelievable. 4:30 with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. We got newsy stuff, too. Do we have any Flounders funnies today? And
I think I can muster
fine,
one up.
I got a story that'll blow your mind when we get back.
coming back next with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, so look out. I like all these kinds of songs, kind of like
Bubblegum?
Happy Parade, bubblegum rock and roll. Yeah, I do. Saturday night.
The Archies?
Yeah. Sugar, sugar.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Have you left your bubblegum on the bedpost overnight? I don't know. It's a different time. Yeah, baby. Rock and roll. It's Saturday night.
All right,
It
that's
was Saturday. It was 1974. The Bay City Rollers went to number 1, thank you, on their British album chart. Their debut album, Rollin'. The album included 3 British chart toppers, Remember, Shang-a-Lang, Summer Love Sensation.
No one remembers.
And the debut of Saturday Night. Never a hit in Britain, but it was a huge smash in America in
By the way,
1974.
Twist and Shout never got to number 1. It stopped at number 2.
No, really, the Beatles did?
Right. You know why?
No, why?
Because Can't Buy Me Love was number 1.
Well, I was going to say.
In
it had
fact,
another Beatles song.
They had all 5 of the top 5.
Was that in 64?
64.
Yeah, that was what that was my Beatles. That was my senior year in prep school. That was everything was Beatles.
God, you're old.
I'm old. I'm sorry. Let's see. A birthday. Oh, this is.
Really old.
Well, no, thank you. Well, I can't help it. I mean, how do you think? Look at me, for God's sakes. I rip at my skin's I'm molting. I'm molting. I mean, just, does your old man do that? Have the skin thing where it just is old and it just comes apart and everything?
That's disgusting.
I don't know.
Keep moving.
Move along now. We're walking.
Birthday list includes Susan Anton, 73 today. When I interviewed Susan Anton on my radio show back in the 1970s, almost 50 years ago, it was like 76 or 7 or 8, somewhere in there. She was just doing the Tipperillo commercials on TV or something. And I was doing an interview with her, and I mentioned something about the fact that she was very tall, and she was pretty, but she was, very, very tall. And she said, well, when possible boyfriends tell me I'm really the tallest girl they ever dated, she says, well, yeah, usually you have to make 2 trips.
You know who she married?
Rocky Stallone. Didn't she marry Sylvester Stallone?
I know she married Dudley Moore.
Dudley Moore, that's right.
He was short as
he was 5'6" or something. Anyway, I thought it was kind of cute back at the time. It was pretty bawdy, too, pretty risque.
Yeah.
Got to make 2 trips.
She was a broad.
Yeah, you all right in there, Flounder?
I'm sorry, I didn't know I had the mic up.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Got a lung up in there.
No, really, it's fine. Let's keep moving.
You want a story that'll blow your mind?
Yeah, I do. I want one very much.
Okay. Last week.
Blow my mind.
Blow your mind?
Yes.
Talk about baldy. Anyway, last week I told you about the guy named Josh Kruger, the liberal activist in Philadelphia.
Hated the cops.
Kept making jokes about Twitter and attacking right-wing people for saying that there's a crime wave in major cities.
Right.
There's nothing wrong
here.
in Philadelphia. I'm safe. And then someone broke into his duplex and shot him 7 times.
7 times they shot him, yeah.
All right. Here's another Josh Kruger tweet. The centuries-old smear that gay men are pedophiles is getting new life thanks to coordination between the far-right news sites and far-right message boards. This egregious defamation is part of a strategy to target LGBTQ people with violence. Okay?
Okay.
Breaking update, according to Andy Ngo. The family of the wanted black teen, a kid named Robert Davis, who's I think 19 years old now. Yeah. They still haven't called him. Guy who shot him. The black
7
teenager
times. Shot him, so saying, no, we have an update on...
The family of Robert Davis is accusing the dead leftist journalist Josh Kruger of grooming the young man for sex, using drugs, methamphetamine, starting when he was 15 years old.
When he was underage, I'll be damned.
So he's
in
a
other words,
pedophile.
The gay pedophile.
Allegedly.
Ding.
Kruger was a BLM advocate who worked for the Philadelphia Office of Homeless Services. I guess that's where he would meet him. Investigators have also suggested to local media that child pornography was found on Kruger's phone and that the disturbing content has been turned over to the SVU, the Special Victims Unit. So the 19-year-old young man, Robert Davis, no relation, who's still on the lam, allegedly, is claiming that he shot him in what sounds like a lover's quarrel. The fact that Kruger was going to blackmail him, allegedly, if you don't keep doing these things. And Robert said he made me do things I didn't want to do, but he told me if I didn't, he was going to post the videos on the internet and ruin me.
Ruin the black kid.
And supposedly that's why he shot him.
Oh, my God.
Can you believe
it
this?
Sounds okay to me.
They always accuse you of what they themselves are doing.
Well, I mean, it sounds to me like it's, everything came out fine.
How many stories like this have we heard in the last couple of years where you have these so-called leaders of the community who come out and, screaming about, don't call us pedophiles, and turns out they are pedophiles.
Well, and I know this is it's extremely provocative of me to say this, but the fact of the matter is, if you are an adult and you are grooming an underage teenager to have sex with you, you kind of, I really don't feel sorry for you when something so bad happens that this kid finally snaps and
that's what happened.
If that's what happened. Now, and by the way, for the record, this doesn't mean that all gay people are pedophiles.
No.
Nobody's saying that at all. We don't have a problem with gay. Nobody has got a problem with gay people. My God. And, we again, in broadcasting, you work with gay people your whole life. They're 80% gay in the entire media business. All right, 60%. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
That would mean one of us.
Well,
I've got a girlfriend.
Odds are.
Well, I've been married a couple of times. I don't know.
Once for
8
me.
or 9 times. Anyway, so that's not a big deal. That's got nothing to do with it. But if you're grooming kids to have sex with them, then frankly, you're going to burn in hell. You might as well get there fast.
But it seems like in last 2 years, a lot of these drag queen leaders are from the guy and politician in New Hampshire and everything. We're finding out all the time.
The fanny spankers too, and
they
the guys,
are pedos.
Yeah. And the ones that are deliberately showing off to children at the children events, dancing naked on poles and stuff. Remember the bike riders that were naked and with the little children? This has been going on for a very long time, and they're more outing themselves now because they think they have the freedom to do it because people are afraid to say anything about it.
That's turned.
Yeah.
That's changed.
Maybe we're finally saying, hold on a minute now. Well, maybe.
Well, that's the end of the breakdown of civilizations and empires, the breakdown of societal norms.
Yeah, I know. By the way, if you want to call, we'd love to hear from you. 404-741-1230, 741-1230. My reverse... don't call. I hate you if you do call. We did get one call, but I was very nice to him, so I lied to myself once. It happened once. 444 with a Kimmer Pete.
What movie is that from? Once.
Oh, that's Peter. That's De Niro. That's Robert De Niro.
No.
Johnny Dangerously.
Joe Piscopo and Michael Keaton.
That was a funny movie.
I went to Newark once.
Oh, by the way, I was thinking when I was trying to think of the group yesterday, and I said Blackwater. I said Black. What did I say?
You kept saying Black Rock.
Black Rock, but I said no, that's not it. It's not Black Rock. It's Black something else. And I looked it up today. It's Blackwater. That was it's actually a private company from Australia.
Oh,
is where they started, and
all right,
they've changed their name. Yes,
someone called in. I was like, "Hi, what are you calling for?" And he goes, "I don't know." Kimmer told someone to call in. So. Here's Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, you're on the radio. How's it going, man? What's up?
Hey, Kimmer.
Herb.
So, the main reason I was calling is just to say I'm really happy to have you guys back on the air again. I was a big fan of the show back in the 80s, and I really like the new guy, Pete, that does the sports and talks all the time.
Yeah, he's one of our favorites.
Yeah, I kind of missed old Snake Davis. What happened to him?
Well, that was my fault. That was my fault.
Died tragically in a hotel fire.
And I tried to kill that nickname, and it didn't work. And I haven't used it in 15 years.
Some jokes get played out, and then it's time to move on, and that seemed to be what happened.
Anyway, whatever. It's all good.
Yeah, I totally get that. And one of the big things that I really love about the new format, I do not miss the every 5 freaking minutes of traffic and weather. Holy cow!
Yeah, that is a nice thing. Yeah, and by the way,
really flows.
I'm just sorry. We deliberately kind of have the format where we have longer segments to do things. It's just, it's modern day weird digital radio. It's a whole different medium now.
Is anything a bigger waste though in drive time in the afternoon?
Yeah,
because the weather doesn't matter. You're going home. It doesn't matter what the weather's doing. You're going to go home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And who cares what the weather is?
Bad everywhere.
And traffic sucks. You're right. It doesn't matter.
Everywhere.
Anyway, that's for sure. Well, listen now. Go Braves. Are you a Braves fan? Hoping for good things tonight, I hope.
Hoping for good things. Last night looked really bad.
That was nice. So,
they need to wake their bats up. They need what's his name, Pedro Serrano from the movie.
Yeah, juju no good for Serrano.
That's right. He needs to put some juju on their bat.
Listen,
guys, have a great afternoon.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. 444 with a Kimmer Pete and Flounder. And by the way, I brought Flounder some. I baked some chicken thighs the other day.
I heard about that.
And they were, and I kind of, I felt a little bad, but I told Flounder, and I mentioned it today, that I made them fairly plain because when I make them, I use them with mashed potatoes and gravy and stuff, so I get a lot of flavor of what I want. But were they okay? They were tender enough, right? They were good, right?
They worked, yeah.
Chicken thighs.
They kind of. Yesterday was kind of the first day I got my appetite back, so it was something easy and simple to eat with rice. So yeah, it was good.
I thought about you today when she looked at me. She goes, "Have you been around anyone sick with any symptoms?" And I thought, I have.
Oops,
No, because if you answer yes, all hell breaks
loose. You got to
loose.
take a test. You got to get your blood.
So I lied.
That's not good. Anyway. By the way, we're going to take a break here in a second. I put this on Facebook and Rumble and YouTube and stuff. My little granddaughter Molly. She sent me a card. I sent her a congratulations gift card for her horse show that she did with her little pony, Indy. Anyway, she's a genius of a little girl. She's 9. She has a whole room down in the basement that is all her artwork. Mm-hmm. She has tables set up with ink and painting and poster. I mean, she does all this artwork stuff. She made me a pull-out card that says, Gramps, pull here, and you pull it out, and it's an actually hand-drawn, artistic, with a horse picture letter that she made I mean, it's just amazing. And this little girl is 9. She's totally fearless, the most daredevil girl you've ever seen, in a gifted school. I mean, she's unbelievable, and it's just amazing little kid.
So she's either you or her is
my
adopted.
Granddaughter. Yeah, I don't get the And Brady, her older brother, they took him to their dad took him to the movie, the girl movie. What's it?
Barbie.
Barbie. And Brady dressed up with a muscle costume under his Ken shirt to go have the girls all swoon him because he's now a 13-year-old just last week. Anyway, God bless America. It's 4:46 for the Kimmer Pete and Flounder. I love this little girl.
Between the sheets.
Look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete and Flounder. 4:50, 10 before 5. There's a great story here about her name. 1974, Blondie appeared at CBGB's in New York City in 1974 under the name Blondie for the first time. You know how she got, I know you guys know how she got her name, derived from comments made by truck drivers who kept catcalling her, "Hey, Blondie," as Debbie Harry drove by and as they drove by, and so she started calling herself Blondie, and it fit, and it was perfect.
They played Harlow's, which is a place right behind Kroger on Memorial Drive back in 1980-81.
Really?
Yeah, that was a disco.
No kidding. You guys watch Lost, did you?
Oh, yeah. Great show.
One of the characters, Dogen on Lost, D-O-G-E-N, Dogen on Lost, Hiroyuki Sanada, 63. He was also Mashahi on Westworld and in the Mortal Kombat movies. Anyway, just throw a birthday out there for the heck of it. I'm sorry, I didn't know. His name is Hiroyuki Sanada, S-A-N-A-D-A, Sanada, 63. Dogen, D-O-G-E-N on Lost, it says here.
Huh.
Well, you check that out.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. You've seen this guy. He's
very, very famous.
Yeah.
Oh, God, he's been everywhere. Oh, you know him.
Last Samurai and all kinds
there you
of
go. There you go.
Yeah.
Very famous actor. That you know by face. Let's see. This guy's kind of weird. 1978, the American, I guess, Treasury Department came out with a list of their predictions. 1978. In 78, they predicted the following, the average income for Americans. In 1978, the average income for America, what would you guess the average income for the American family in 1978?
$45,000.
$10,000.
Wow.
Is that unbelievable?
Wow.
In 1978, the average income was $10,000. They predicted in 1978 that by 1990, they predicted the average income would be $22,700. It actually was $29,000. So it went from $10,000 to $29,000 in 10 years, 12 years. In 2010, they predicted $70,000 average salary. It was actually a $50,000 average salary. But in 1978, the Treasury Department predicted that by 2025, the average salary would be $162,000 by 2025. And giving in the same, a logarithm, basically, or whatever, they must have some kind of a skip index for statistical figuring. And in 1978, the Federal Department of Treasury figured that by 2050, the average income will be $658,000 a year.
No.
But isn't that amazing how things change? In 1978, the average salary, $10,000. Of course, you could buy a house for $10,000 too.
Oh, the cars were $2,000.
Yeah. Oh, hell! When I went to graduate school in '72, we bought a new Cutlass and traded in our Volkswagen or something. It was like $1,600.
Well, think about it. If you made $10,000 that year and you spent $2,000 on a car, $3,000 on a car, that's 20-30% of your income.
Yeah.
Now, you buy a car, it's going to cost you anywhere from, if you want a good one, you got to spend from $30,000 to $50,000-$60,000. And how much of a chunk that is from your.
I just saw, in fact, this week on my phone popped up the current average price of a new car. If you can find, I know what it was. There was a survey that showed there's only one car one new car you can buy for like under $25,000.
Kia.
Yeah, it's some little teeny little something or other. But literally, you're going to spend $30 or $40,000 for an entry level something.
I paid, 2013. I bought the Honda Civic SI, the sportier version of the Honda Civic with a lot of room in it, and I paid $23,000.
Wow.
At the time, of course, I just paid it. I didn't. I just wrote them a check.
Well, there you were big time.
And they went nuts. They hated that.
Well, you were a sports guy.
They kept me in there for an hour, just completely, they were apoplectic. They did not like. I said, I've waited my whole life to do this, and I'm going to do it. Well, don't you want to? I don't need to.
No,
to do the financing. Let me out of here.
Well, that's because they want to do your thing. By the way, a little secret here. I once did a story on this about a lot that was offering 0% financing to get the cars off the lot. 0% financing. And I said, no, you can't make any money on 0% fine. What's the trick? And he said, off the camera, he told me, he said, well, the trick is we're paying taxes on those cars sitting on the lot. This inventory tax. If we get rid of it, we're making money. Just to get the damn thing out of here, we're making money. So if we're not selling them, a last ditch effort, at least we're saving money, and we're going to make money on the car, on the cost of it. But we don't have to worry about financing just to get rid of the damn thing and start over when it's free. Anyway, I don't know if that's still true anymore. I have no idea. I don't know if who's got inventory for anything anymore in this country. 4:55. Before I forgot, I mentioned to Pete. I saw this morning, and I think you may have a story on it. I saw somebody interviewing Henry Kissinger.
Oh, he's still alive.
He's still alive this morning on TV. I think it was a British guy, and I think he lives in London or Paris or where the hell was he interviewed? I don't think he still lives there. Anyway. It might have been Toronto or something. I don't remember. And I saw the interview, and I'm telling you, I thought it was the Buddha. I mean, Henry Kissinger. It looks like it's a head on a large round. Who was the guy in the Star Wars movie who did the Jabba the Hutt? Henry Kissinger looked like a bearded, glassy, with glasses on, head on Jabba the Hutt. I mean, he was slumped over. He looked like he couldn't lift his head. I didn't see any arms. It was just like one big blob with a head on it. I thought, oh, my God, the poor bastard. I'll bet he hasn't moved in years. I mean, it looked like you couldn't move. I mean, God, and they're asking him for
the Han Solo. Okay, here's this quote. It was a grave mistake to let in so many people of totally different culture and religion and concepts.
Well,
he's right. We let people in that have basically beliefs that are almost 180 degrees different and opposed to American beliefs. Yeah. Most American beliefs.
What do you expect's going to happen?
Look what happened up in Michigan. You had an entire auditorium of people screaming and clapping and supporting Hamas, and their leader gets up and says Hamas is not a terrorist organization, and they went nuts. Yeah. Those aren't Americans. I don't care what their papers say. That's not an American way of looking at things. And they've got no business being here. If it was up to me, I'd deport the lot of them. I'm sorry. That's just not an American way to think, that you think Hamas is not a terrorist organization. They come over here, and they don't want to become American. They don't want to assimilate. They want to bring the old country BS over here and just send money back or drag them back, more of them over here, and create a little enclave here of the old country, which they just escaped. And someone had a great meme the other day. It says, Palestinians, they hate everything around them. Yeah. They hate, the only way they're happy is to be unhappy. But they hate Gaza. They love America, though. They love Britain. They love France. They love this and this and this. But then they want to create it more like Gaza, which they left because they hated.
Yeah. The number one baby name a couple of years ago in London was Mohammed.
Oh, they're screwed.
Yeah. And by the way, how does this sound today, Pete, since you just mentioned that? 1915, on this day, former U.S. President Teddy Roosevelt, 1915, said, "It's so wrong for you Americans to start claiming this dual nationality crap. You're not a German American or an Irish American or French American. You're an American. It's wrong. You can't call you're an American, period." Can you imagine if somebody tried even anything? Now you can't even tell somebody, you can't tell a girl she's a girl.
Teddy Roosevelt has said it the best. Basically, if someone tells you there are something hyphenated American, he goes, that's not an American.
Yeah.
You're American. You come over here. You want to be an American. Yeah. If you don't want to be here, then leave.
Yeah. Why would? I still really say this too. I mean, I'm not saying love it or leave it, although I think that's really a good philosophy. Why would you want to be here if you really hate everything we stand? Why would Talib and Rashid, why would they want to be here? I mean,
because they're making money and they got power, and they don't want to be over there.
Yeah, because they hate their own country. So why would they want to bring it here?
Because they're idiots.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it's like going to New York and moving to Florida and Georgia and voting Democrat again. I mean, come on,
they're idiots. Locusts. They're locusts. They're human locusts.
Yeah, I guess. All right. Oh, my God. It's 5 o'clock. Holy Crap at Sports is coming up shortly, and we'll have actual news. Oh, and you're going to hear Senator The Creature from Pennsylvania, too, and some more wokeness. And the Border Patrol targets. Thanks a lot, open borders. President showers with daughter. 5 o'clock. Look out. Let's get it together, ladies. Left shoulder, right a blank. Ready on your dog target. Road guards out. Look out, 503, and it's only me, and me, Bill Poetic idea with the kipper with Pete Davis and Flounder, the mechanical mangler at controls. How's it going? Good to have you aboard. It's oh, by the way, I'm glad actually, in a way, I think maybe the Braves aren't playing here tonight. Weather-wise, it was blustery when I was coming in today. Did you notice the weather change, boy? It's cold and blustery wind. Could have been a fun game. And incidentally, it's definitely getting darker a lot earlier, too. I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet.
Yeah.
Blustery?
Blustery.
At 2:30 this morning, bark, 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 bark. Oh, God, they got a bear outside. I'm going to go outside and see what they got.
No, they're not your dog. These are the big
there's a valley dogs.
Newfoundlands or from
Great Pyrenees.
Great Pyrenees dog. Great
They
Pyrenees.
guard the valley. It's 2:30 in the morning. I go out there and see what they've treed or whatever. They're both sitting out there in the front yard looking at me like, can you come out and play? Don't you have some treats in there?
They just come to see you whenever they feel like it.
So I go wrestle with them for 30 minutes and then go back to bed.
What a country. 504. We got a million things on the Hamas business and the group. Now they're burning the babies' bodies. It's not just cutting the heads off. They're also burning the babies, among other things. ISIS flag was spotted there as part of this attack. And we'll talk more. 27 Americans dead. More than a dozen are missing. And they have now, America's decided finally to have flights over there to get the people out if they want to come. They're doing 4 charter flights a day. And so things are happening. The Israelis haven't made a full-fledged counterattack yet, but they're working on it. And they are investigating, going door to door. They're attacking, but they haven't made their full-fledged assault yet. I guess we'll know when they do. A couple of things here in America, which I think are pretty interesting, including the truck from the driving around Harvard University after, of course, the school came out with the Harvard Crimson reported that a truck was spotted being driven through campus displaying a digital billboard showing the faces and the names of the students who were associated with a letter, sparking a backlash after they said that Israel's to blame for the Hamas attacks, that it's all Israel's fault. So now the groups who were claiming that are getting doxxed. I say, how do you like it, you lousy, dirty, stinking bastards? You deserve it. We want to know who you are. The images are like the truck again with a big digital billboard, and it says Harvard's leading anti-Semites. And it showed their names, their images, and their faces. The conservative watchdog group Accuracy in Media is claiming responsibility for the stunt, saying they are taking off the names of the students from groups that withdrew their comments about that letter, but they're adding new names every hour. There's also a petition to calling for Harvard to expel all the students whose organizations co-signed that letter saying Israel's getting what it deserved. The truck has drawn backlash. One user on Twitter wrote, "This is so grotesque and depraved, man. It's intimidation and harassment of appalling proportions." Yeah, exactly what you did to everybody who's a conservative who tried to support America during the George Floyd crap that was going on in this country for 3 stinking years. I mean, you got what you deserve.
Or giving out GOP members' addresses.
Yeah, remember that. We're coming after you, Kavanaugh, in front of the Supreme Court. And remember that police officer donated $10 for the other cop who was in trouble for the George Floyd thing, and they came to his house and doxed him. I mean, this is just appalling. Now they're complaining, oh, you're telling people who we are. Yeah, you're damn right. We want to know who you are. In fact, there's a good reason for it. A dozen CEOs are now endorsing, we talked about yesterday, a guy named Bill Ackman, who's a billionaire investor guy. And now more than a dozen other CEOs are saying, we're not going to hire you Harvard students who blame Israel for the attack. Undergrads, by the way, are doubling down, saying, oh, you're whining about being flooded with racist hate speech. I mean, this is outrageous. CEOs from Easy Health, Belong, FabFitFun, Inspired Dumb. There's a whole bunch of names here. No one should be able to hide behind a corporate shield when issuing statements supporting the actions of terrorists who we learn have beheaded babies, among other inconceivably despicable acts. The student group Harvard Palestine Solidarity put out a statement reaffirming their message despite the outrage that happened. Our statements made international headlines flooded with racist hate speech and death threats. Hundreds of students have been persuaded both on campus and online to be unaffiliated with our group. Well, duh. You're supporting the terrorists to chop up babies. And again, we have to remember this was a deliberate act. The scuzzbag, the subhuman ectoplasm packages who came in. I don't know what to call them.
That's after they're dead. Right now they're just plasma.
Yeah, they're plasma, I guess. I mean, my God, they deliberately picked up babies and cut off their heads. Somebody was assigned the job.
Why don't they go to other Middle Eastern? Oh, because other Middle Eastern Muslim countries won't take them.
Yeah, maybe
why? Because they hate them.
Yeah.
They've kicked them out of every country over there. Do you know what Egypt has on their border?
Yeah.
With Gaza?
Yeah.
Here we go. They built a massive parallel wall and super strength steel underground wall because they like to tunnel like rats. One wall made of concrete goes 20 feet high and underground. The other's stone. They're patrolled by the military. There's one checkpoint to get in the country, heavily guarded.
Well, obviously, Egypt's filled with a bunch of racists like America who doesn't want to keep little brown people from coming across their border. By the way, someone should tell President Showers with daughter, look at Egypt, sir, please. You know, they seem to be doing okay in terms of 6 million in the last 3 years.
That's what I'm saying. The Palestinians aren't like the rest of them over there.
No.
They're their own little tribe.
No. By the way, you mentioned
everybody hates them.
I mentioned a thing about Harvard. Well, in New York University's Law Student Bar Association is trying to get rid of its president. The president of the New York University Law Student Bar Association wrote a letter. Her name is Raina Workman, with a message accusing Israel of state-sanctioned violence against Hamas, saying Israel bears full responsibility for the barbaric and highly coordinated terror attacks that killed more than 1,200 Israelis over the weekend. And the group, the president, Raina Workman, Student Bar Association president, has now been hit with some backlash, and they're trying to get rid of her, calling to oust her. And by the way, New York University Law School, quote, unequivocally condemns the recent terrorist attacks and atrocities perpetrated. But again, one after another college campus, they're doubling down and blaming Israel for as though they don't care about the resulting atrocities, that those babies deserve to have their heads cut off.
This is why we shouldn't pay attention when these college-age kids start running their mouth about something. Who cares what you think? You've accomplished nothing in your life. Nothing.
What kind of character do you have after all this education? They're not teaching, learn and work hard, and the person who works the best and studies the hardest is going to get ahead in the world. That's got nothing to do with anything these days. Everything's wokeism and social mediaism and seeing what you're supposed to respond to as though they demand you react to something that's none of your damn business from some other place in the world you've never freaking heard of 8 minutes ago.
And if you feel so strong about it, go there and do something about it.
Yeah, fine. Join the freaking military. You want to go fight for somebody? Sign up. I mean, really, sign up. Oh, by the way, MSNBC has lost 33% of its audience covering the war the way they're doing it. MSNBC is now showing both the death tolls for both the Israelis and the Hamasites, Hamas holes.
That's like putting, we lost this many British, French, and American troops today, and here's all the Nazis that lost today.
They lost a bunch too, so let's remember that they have families too. They have families.
Let's call for after they overrun Poland, let's call for a ceasefire here.
Yeah. Oh my God. This stall. Before we forget, we're going to have to talk more about this later after Holy Crap and Sports coming up. But here we go. Pete found this a little while ago. The Border Patrol agents are on high alert. Apparently, there's a plot uncovered to obtain. Speaking of doxing, this is how the left operates. There is a plot to obtain the home addresses of the agents of the Border Patrol for the purpose of torturing federal law enforcement, and they are offering a higher compensation reward if you give these people the addresses of any of the agents' mothers. Top dollar for good information on the agents and more for their mothers, where we can find their mothers. And if you give us the addresses, we will post our video torturing any Border Patrol agent or their mother that you help us find. A plot to dox, capture, torture America's Border Patrol agents. 5:13 with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Go Braves. By the way, there's no way he's going to get with the right that she wanted to do.
What?
We're taking a wager.
I have full confidence.
518 with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. And I have a couple of sports birthdays. But first, when the Braves wait for play, holy crap, it's sports with Pete Davis.
For the time being, I shall require only women and children.
Man the lifeboats. Or should I say the bandwagon?
Help.
Maybe it's a little too soon for that. Maybe just a few hours too soon, but still, it's too soon.
Yeah, it is.
It's starting to feel like Groundhog Day as the Braves are down 2-1 again to the Phillies and facing a must-win tonight. Put up or shut up time, it says on batterypower.com. Spencer Strider on the mound. Game begins just after 8 p.m. tonight up in Philly. They got blown out 10-2 last night. Here's the highlight.
Pitch on the way, and Ozzie will hit one in the right field down for a base hit. Getting a green light at third base, Acuna. Here's the throw to the plate. It's off the line, 1-0 Braves.
Who knew you could have turned the TV set off right then and there?
Hey, outstanding.
Ben Ingram of 680 The Fan right there. And if you listen or read the idiot sports writers, you'd think it was all Orlando Arcia's fault for riling Bryce Harper up.
But that's the most ridiculous thing. Well, I'm sorry. You go.
Well, I got news for you.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper is always riled up.
Yeah.
He's like Bruce Banner in the Avengers. I'm always angry. Orlando made a joke in the locker room after the Braves came from behind to win the other night. And a sports writer wrote about it like the shortstop was calling out Harper's manhood. As a former Braves reliever, Eric O'Flaherty tweeted, Harper did not go deep because some weasel reported that a guy joked about a blunder. He went deep because he had 2 hanging sliders.
Yeah.
You got to be a real dumb blank to think he hit 2 home runs because he was mad or whatever. It's the playoffs. Emotions don't matter if you make pitches.
I mean, somebody has to make an issue out of something, and sports writers have got
what they do.
especially what they do.
Weasels, basically. Most of them. 99% of them. All the good ones I knew no longer do it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Tom Stinson, Jack Wilkinson, they no longer do it. So, our extra NLDS sponsors?
Please mention
XTR.
our sponsors.
Marietta.
Hold on. Me. Flounder, you ready? Me.
I'm ready.
All right, then go ahead, sir. Sponsors.
Marietta Toyota.
All right, sir.
Truist Bank. Alternate Career Sports Academy. Solomon Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Subaru of Gwinnett.
Yeah.
And
Aqua Guard. Oh,
no, it doesn't go up.
no,
it
it goes down a little bit, I think. They're going to cancel. They're going to say, we can't do this anymore with these people.
And for the second straight year, the Braves' path to the World Series would have been and might still be Dodgers free as they got swept by Arizona.
Yeah.
This after losing to the Padres last year. That's embarrassing. What's going on with them? The Babylon Bee headline is this. Dodgers wondering if they should have spent more time training for playoffs and less time honoring satanic drag nuns. The Diamondbacks smacked 4 solo homers in 1 inning to win 4-2 last night. That's got to be a record of some kind. The Dodgers became only the second team in baseball history to win 100 games during the regular season and never have so much as a lead during the ensuing postseason series. The only other team that did that, the 1963 Yankees, were swept in the World Series by the Dodgers back then. It marked the 3rd straight year the Dodgers were eliminated in the postseason by a team they finished more than 15 games better during the regular season. Betts and Freeman, that's Mookie and Freddie, put up MVP caliber campaigns. They drove the Dodgers' high-powered offense all season, went a combined 1 for 21 when it mattered most. Wow. Freeman said, not good by us. And Betts says, I can't speak for all of us, but I know for sure I did absolutely nothing to help us win. I like Mookie Betts.
But again, there's no explanation other than it's baseball, and you're trying to hit a round ball with a round bat, and sometimes you hit it, and sometimes you don't. And that, a pitch could be a 16th of an inch different than you thought it was going to be, and it's over.
It might be an explanation.
Well, all right, sir.
Former Brave center fielder Ender Inciarte tweeted, this new playoffs format does not help the best teams of the season clearly. Sitting for a week to go out and play is like going to the IL and having to get your timing back.
Yeah.
Think about this. The Dodgers.
Remember, it was 8 days.
Dodgers are out. Braves on the verge of going out. Baltimore's out.
Yeah. Baltimore was the cream of the crop for the Eastern Division in the AL.
Yeah.
Along with St. Louis.
That layoff, it's not just the Braves that it's hurting.
I can't believe you just let me say St. Louis. I said Baltimore leader in East along with St. Louis.
Well, as I usually, I only listen to like half you say. I like filter. Yeah, the Kimmer filter's on.
Where have I heard that before?
So a lot of fans are questioning manager Brian Snicker's moves during this series, especially in the lineup for Game 1 and the bullpen maneuvers last night. You yourself were complaining about what was going on.
If it's in the third inning and you got a guy, bring him in. You can bring your clothes, whatever. You can't lose.
I know. Hey, Mets fans. You still out there, Mets fans? Hello.
Yeah, we're boy.
Bueller. You're already throwing money away by buying tickets to see your teams up in Flushing.
No.
Now you can really throw good money after bad
What'd
because Mets owner Steve Cohen is building a casino right next to Citi Field. He's got to get your money.
Get it all.
He's got to get all your dumbasses' money. Cha-ching. And the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Used to be played at Tulane and then moved to the Superdome, which is a dump. Is about to celebrate its 90th anniversary, the old Sugar Bowl.
I'll be darned.
It's all right. It's been a staple of New Year's Bowl games and lately
I don't think anybody ever missed the Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl was always close. Usually an SEC team in there, and it was kind of like the late game, 8 or 9 o'clock, and by then you were completely hammered.
Well, back when I was a kid, there were only 4 or 5 that were on anyway, not 27, including the sanitation bowl and the flushing, the toilet bowl.
Okay, don't you complain about bowl games, mister. Because I love. No, there's not. There's no such thing as too much college football.
Oh, okay, sorry. I should have known.
There's no such thing.
No, I know. On Saturdays, do not text this man.
What I used to do on New Year's morning, I get up the Gator Bowl, would start around 10 or 11 or so like that, and I make a big old punch bowl. Lime sherbet, rainbow sherbet, Andre Pink champagne, 7-Up or Sprite, whatever you have. And every time someone scored, I dip the old cup in there and take a sip.
Now, how did you keep the ice cream from getting all watery and stuff?
Well, you keep it in the fridge sometimes, or it would melt. So let's face it. By the time the Rose Bowl came on at 4 o'clock, you didn't know who was playing. And by the time the Sugar Bowl came on, you didn't know they were still playing football. But anyway, okay, what else we got here? Okay, I'm talking about the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
It's been a staple of the bowl games in the playoffs, but it's about to maybe be replaced by Las Vegas or maybe a new stadium in Nashville when they build it.
The Sugar Bowl in Vegas?
No. Just don't do New Orleans and Sugar Bowl. Just move it somewhere else. Go play a playoff game somewhere else. There's so many places now that have great stadiums that want to host these games. SoFi in L.A., Mercedes-Benz here in Atlanta. They're building one in Nashville.
Yeah, I guess.
They got one in Vegas now. Santa Clara out there, south of San Francisco.
Well, everything's gone.
The Superdome's a pit.
Yeah, it's over. Oh, the Superdome's horrible. Horrible place.
Replay officials made the right call on a fumble that ended up costing the Hurricanes that victory against Georgia Tech. That's according to the ACC supervisor officials, Alberto Riveron, told ESPN that they got it right. Even though a lot of people, including me, look at it.
What did you see? What was the issue about whether it was right or wrong call?
Whether the running back fumbled the ball or not.
When it was at the last, his wrist on the touched
elbow,
the ground.
Somebody said his elbow.
Yeah, touched the ground, which means it should not have been a fumble.
Right, but they're saying it was a fumble.
It was a fumble.
So we'll say the Chiefs host the Broncos in KC tonight, and guess who will be there?
Oh, goody!
Yes, Tanya Tucker,
Bigfoot,
huge Chiefs fan. Will parachute in during halftime.
Tanya's not.
No, it's your girl. She's going to be there.
Yeah, Taylor.
That's all we're going to hear about.
That's right. In fact, the Babylon Bee said they had to stop the televised broadcast from instant replay to get a shot of her eating a Dorito or something in the booth.
I wonder what her diet consists of.
My God.
She's like a praying mantis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's seriously like a praying mantis. If she ever mates with him, she's going to bite his head off afterwards.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Exiled former Raiders head coach John Gruden fired after the NFL leaked his racist comments in what seemed an effort to divert attention from their sexual misconduct trials, is being rumored for another job.
Well, okay, what's the rumor?
A Pittsburgh scribe says Gruden could replace embattled Steelers offensive coordinator Matt Canada.
Now, wow, Steelers,
which they have a black head coach.
Yeah.
So if Gruden's going to get back, it's going to be.
I forgot
what
did he use the N word? I mean, I forgot.
I think he did. He said.
Was he talking about the Union chief? Maybe is.
I forget exactly what he said, but it wasn't good. I
can't remember. Yeah,
it wasn't good. But
it was also kind of surprising.
It was funny that in all that stuff that came out, only his stuff came out.
Yeah.
Nothing that had to do with the Washington Redskins came out.
It was the Redskins. Again, that was the issue, to cover up the Redskins being such a scumbag.
Yeah.
Everybody was suing him.
And it was hurting the NFL.
Everybody was suing him.
Yeah, so they go after Gruden, who's in Las Vegas, who had nothing to do with that.
Who got fired.
Yeah. College football tonight, we got West Virginia at Houston and Southern Methodist at East Carolina. For the lounge suite.
Yes.
East Carolina is known as?
The Fighting Insurance Salesman. Or
so close.
The Hurricanes.
Flounder?
East Carolina, probably.
Do you know what
Hurricanes.
East Carolina?
The Offshore Midget Widgets.
Is it the Knights?
I don't know.
East. Oh, wait a minute. So you were.
Wait a minute. I wanted
check
to say.
Google?
Okay, I thought I
Your
knew,
screen just
and then
went
I
black.
thought, yeah, my screen went black.
There we
Well,
go.
yeah, everything is these days.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was the Catamounts, and I thought, no, wait a minute. They're the
Caterpillars?
Pirates. I think East Carolina's the Pirates, right?
Let me check.
How are we
Or is that
supposed
West
to
Carolina?
know it? How's anybody supposed to know off the top of their head East Carolina's football team mascot?
I used to know.
Well, you're a sports guy.
I used to know.
I didn't even know
Wrote
East
a book on
Carolina
it.
had a team. How you doing, boy? He's smiling.
Petey the Pirate.
He's smiling. The man's
It's a
still
pirate.
smiling.
Pirate.
We
Petey
just-
the Pirate.
Pirates. There
Petey
you
the
go.
Pirate.
All right.
I knew it as Pirate. Didn't I say Pirates? Did I say Pirate?
I think you did.
Yeah, I said Knight.
Oh, there you are.
It's kind of close.
Are you? You're sitting there.
You
got
look
some
at me
more?
like you got anything else. It's like, no, I don't.
Well, I have.
Well, when we get back, we got a bunch of phone calls to get to.
Oh, all right. Well, I've got 2 sports birthdays, and then we'll get to all of our calls. We have a bunch of phone calls.
What?
I don't believe that. Bodie Miller, the Olympic gold medal
Yes.
skier, 47. Didn't he just lose his son or something?
They've
Little
had
boy?
tragedy.
The pool. Before he's had a couple horrible things. Bodie Miller and Marion Jones, 48, track and field athlete, admitted steroid injector. She gave back the 5 medals she won at the Sydney Olympics in 2000. Marion Jones is 48.
The rest of her life, she's going
That's
to
right.
think
And
about
it's a
that.
shame because she was probably going to win them anyway. I don't know. Your calls. Five. Do we have time to do them or should we not really? All right, hold on.
We're gonna get when we get back.
All right, we got them all when we get back. And plus, you'll hear from Senator The Thing also with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Like I
Putting on the Ritz.
Yeah, this is the way it used to be. Gene Vincent. Actually, his real name was Vincent Eugene Craddock. He went by the name Gene Vincent. And on this day in 1971, Gene Vincent died from a perforated ulcer. He was only 36, but he had the 1956 U.S. hit and British hit single, Bebop-A-Lula. Yeah. He was in the film The Girl Can't Help It with Jane Mansfield. And in 1960, while on tour in Britain, Vincent and songwriter Sharon Sheely were seriously injured when their car crashed and killed Eddie Cochran.
Yep.
The other singer, the famous, wasn't he like a young?
He would have been huge.
Yeah,
that was the final question in Spies Like Us. Do you remember the end of Spies Like Us?
Oh my God, I forgot that. I remember that movie.
James Mansfield in the
Wow.
Girl Can't Help.
He would have been. Cochran would have been huge.
He had that. Wouldn't he knock on the door? Let me come in. Was that him or was that
Eddie
somebody?
Cochran did a Summertime Blues and stuff like that.
Right.
And he was not only a singer, he was a writer and a producer. I mean, he was ahead of his time.
Yeah, and Vincent and this girl killed him in a car crash. Yeah. Wow. I mean, not that they delivered it. It wasn't a murder thing. Let's see. Marty McGuire, the Dixie Chicks, is 54.
Yeah,
is she the bad one?
They're all bad.
Screw them. By the way, phone call. Do we still have, I think, Tony, Steve, and Joe coming right here in just 1 second, I think, and Christian maybe? Hold on, you guys.
Down to one.
Down to one. Well, I waited too long. All right, well, that's my fault entirely. And then I'll take my time. On this day, no, I'm sorry. We'll get right to you, I promise. 1997, this was the day John Denver played golf with his buddies, and then they said, hey, let's play another 18 at Cypress Point here in San Francisco. And he said, no, I think I'll take the plane out. He had that homemade airplane, and he was taking out over the Pacific Ocean near Monterey Bay, California, and ran out of fuel and crashed, and he was dead, and he was 53. John Denver. Coastal authorities never found his head, his pelvis, his kidneys, or his spleen. John Denver, dead in 1997 on this.
Well, they asked him if he wanted to take a shower at the club.
Yeah. What did he say?
Wash up on shore.
Oh, my God. Oh, by the way.
Wait a minute. He disintegrated on impact?
Crashed into the rocks. And by the way,
in the water.
In the water, yeah.
Well, it's like hitting a brick wall. Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. At that height, at that speed,
it's concrete.
Yeah,
the people who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, they didn't. It wasn't because they drowned; they were dead when they hit the water. It's like they landed on ground.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Some people have survived doing that, though.
Yeah, there have been cases, not that many.
Steve
Steve. Now, do we have a phone call? You want to talk about your idea?
I'm thinking of tomorrow
with all the big Hamas and stuff.
I'm going to get an Israeli flag, and I'm going to drive around tomorrow just waving it. What do you think? Well, all right, hold on a minute now. In your car? Yeah, in my car.
Your Porsche?
So?
From Germany?
Oh.
Man, you
are the circuit.
I didn't think this
I'm not going to drive anywhere near you. I'm not going to the mountains of Macon.
I am sending a mixed message with that, ain't I?
Kind of a mixed message. Man, you don't think you get some reaction? How funny would that be? Wouldn't even know where to begin.
He had a Porsche.
Well, there you are. Let's go to who's our phone call? Is Steve on? Steve is on the phone. Steve, thank you for holding. I really apologize for keeping you on this long, but welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
That's all right. Well, Kimmer, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago about my futile attempt for 2 years to get my Navy records, including my medical records.
Yeah.
Well, last week I got this big manila envelope in the mailbox, and it said National Archives St. Louis, and that's where they keep the old records, right? And on the way in the house, I'm feeling them. I said, this thing is pretty thin. And I get inside, and I open it up, and there's a letter that I ignored, and 3 absolute terrible microfiche copies of my DD-214, which I have probably 50 of them copies.
That's the discharge papers. Everybody gets out of them. They give you a DD-214 to prove you were
and then so I go back to the letter, and you know what the letter says?
What?
In order to protect your identity, please resubmit your request with the request number at the top of this letter.
You know...
Now, how does that prove that I'm me,
I know.
Kimmer?
I know. I'm going through it right now, and I just had a meeting again. What's this? Tuesday or Wednesday? Yesterday. Yeah. And it's just and then she found out. Oh, wait a minute! You had a heart attack. Oh my God, that's a whole other thing. So now there's a whole other. I mean, it's a nightmare. It's
crazy. Nightmare. I mean, the thing is some bureaucrat just got that off of his desk.
Yeah,
and that's what happened.
And so they've done their job. Yeah.
Good luck with yours, buddy.
Thanks, my man. Semper Fi, Steve. 541.
Did you put a TPS cover sheet on it when you sent it in?
I get 14 TPS cover sheets. And no matter how many I do, I don't get another nickel for doing even more.
We're going to need
you're
use
gonna have
the
to
TPS cover sheet.
Let me get that stapler there. Oh, mercy. Let's see. By the way, I mentioned yesterday I almost hit a cop. Yeah. Driving home, I almost swerved to change lanes at the last second because they changed the rule. And I almost hit a cop, and then or even if I didn't hit him, he would have pulled me over. If I'd changed lanes and didn't hit him, he would have put me over for changing lanes because it was a solid line. And then today, I'm driving down several years ago on West Side Parkway, where you go downhill past the amphitheater. The speed limit's 30. I think speed limit's 40, and I was doing like 52, and they got me, and I got a radar caught me. Okay, that was West Side Parkway. Today, West Side Parkway, I see the lights about to turn yellow, so I want to speed up to make through it. So I speed up to go through the yellow light, and I look to my right, and a car on the right-hand side ready to turn right as I'm whizzing by him is a cop. I got, oh, crap. And he pulls out behind me and follows me for miles, I'm telling you. And I'm thinking, first of all, oh, crap, he's waiting to see if he can get me for something else. Although I don't think I broke the law. I might have gone a little quick. But I was still, Pete Strong, he's doing, I was up through the light. He was on the right and then followed me through miles and through little side roads, I mean, like Grimes Bridge or stuff like that. Anyway, is there anything worse than having a police officer follow you at whatever speed? And I'm going, oh my God. And I finally get to one of those what do they call them? A turn around.
Circles.
The turn circle. What do they call it? Traffic circles. And finally, he leaves me after many miles. And I'm thinking, I think he was probably just trying to rag me because he knew I was. Anyway, so there's nothing worse. But anyway, I did not get a ticket.
Right, that's what it looked like.
That's exactly what it looked like. Pete Davis, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, mercy. And by the way, I probably should talk tonight on TV. You know what's on TV tonight?
Football.
The Old Bachelor.
Braves.
Well, Braves are on TV. I'll be watching the Braves.
Is the final?
The old it's not. I don't know if it's a final, but it's the Old Bachelor's on tonight at 8 o'clock.
They need to record him pretty quick. You never know.
Well, and again, I'll have to watch it, but it's pathetic. It's horrible. And again, I see myself in this whole opportunity here, trying to find love at your old age. And again, thank God I got killed inside many years ago, but again, you still had the hope until you got killed again on my birthday, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, seeing this Old Bachelor, and today I had one of the sweetest examples of like a fantasy flirtation today with that special little beautiful girl that I've told you about before at the Publix, who's just so the sweetest she could be. And today I was I won't spend time. I just got to go break, but and you're going to hear start to do the thing here shortly. So today I had like 4 things. I bought your peanuts. I bought you some peanut M&Ms, and I bought some cookies for Flounder. I've got stuff. So I had like 3 things. So I go to the line I go to the first line that's open at the Publix down where I live in Alpharetta, Main Street. And there's like 2 people in line. They both have like 30 things. And I say, oh God. So I'll go. No, wait a minute. So I go to the quick line, and then I look at the cash register. The girl who was loading the bags was my little fantasy girl that I do my little flirty games with. And so I stayed there. And by the way, when I went to the line, and then I saw how big the line was, and then I started to walk away, and then I saw her, and she saw me seeing her, and I put my stuff right back down at the end of the line to wait there, and she started laughing like crazy and smiling, and couldn't be happier when I got there to start flirt talking with me about why she seemed so tired. And I said, oh, were you a bad girl on Facebook last night? And she says, oh, no. Oh, God, it was the greatest little thing, 2 minutes of my life. And it was because I started laughing when she saw me start to go away and then see her and put my stuff right back down to wait there all the time it took just so I could say hi to her in the morning time at the Publix. It was a sweet thing. That was exactly like that, putting 3 items down. Pete Davis, ladies and gentlemen. It's your courtroom artist.
Now that is art.
Oh, my
rendition.
God. Yeah. And tomorrow, the secret of Fleetwood Mac. But first, it's 5:46 for the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Look at it. Here we go. Yeah, it's Little Richard. It was on this day in 1957. Little Richard and an Australian tour renounced rock and roll and embraced God, telling a story of dreaming of his own damnation after praying to God when one of the engines on a plane he was on caught fire. Little Richard threw 4 diamond rings valued at $8,000 into the Sydney, Australia Hunter River and then launched a gospel career. 5 years later, he would switch back to rock and roll in 1957.
And other things.
Yeah, among other things. Let's see. Do I have any more birthdays here?
You know, the beginning of that song sounds just like Bonham on Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll.
Yeah. By the way, again, Flounder's father, who missed at 77. Rich is 77. You know, a Vietnam veteran, decorated warrior, and welcome home, sir.
Oh, sorry. He's Rich in 77.
Rich
What's his
77.
name?
Thank you so much. And now the answer is, by the way, I have a long history thing about Christopher Columbus. Should I do that?
How long is it?
Well, it's good. It's a good minute.
That's what she said.
It's a personal question, don't you think?
It's going to be a good minute. Well, okay, hold on. Well, I'll do it. I'll try to be as quick as I can.
A good minute.
Okay.
Huh?
No, we'll see. Okay, on this day, 1492, Christopher Columbus was asleep on the Santa Maria. Rodrigo de Trevijana spotted the Bahamian island of Guanahani from the crow's nest of the Pinta. Columbus renamed the island San Salvador. He thought he actually had found Asia. The King and Queen of Spain had promised a reward to the person who spotted land. Young Rodrigo spotted the land from the crow's nest, but Columbus collected the reward. He told Rodrigo, "Nah, you just saw a cloud." So he didn't get the reward for that. Yeah, I know.
Richard.
Also, by the way, imagine the balls to go find out in 1492 to see if there was land somewhere in the water. I mean, you know,
they knew.
I don't know. By the way, it was in 400 years later, in 1892, to celebrate the 400th anniversary of the famous Columbus landing. The original version of the Pledge of Allegiance was said in public schools for the first time. One more thing, and this may take a second. It's kind of a bad thing about Columbus. Should we do a bad thing about Columbus?
You just did a bad thing about Columbus.
No, I didn't. Well,
Yeah,
he
you
stole
did.
the guy's money.
Yeah.
Well, then screw him. I'll do another bad thing. Columbus received the warmest of welcomes when he arrived in the New World on this day in 1492, claimed us for Spain. The native people of the Bahamian island were so excited to see him, they swam out to his ship, offered greetings. He said, quote, Columbus, quote, wrote this quote, "They brought us parrots and balls of cotton and spears and many other things, which they exchanged for the glass beads and hawks' bells. They willingly traded everything they owned. They were well built with good bodies and handsome features. They do not bear arms. They do not know about arms. I showed them a sword. They took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They have no iron. They have no spears. They're made out of cane." Columbus also saw the vast potential of the natives when he met that fateful day. Quote, "They would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want."
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
Suddenly, I see the point.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh!
So, be very careful, my friend. Oh, by the way, we're going to play start of the thing in a second. I can't believe you weren't impressed. Maybe you were and you didn't say anything because you're afraid to. Yesterday, when we were talking about Red Fox, and I said he had a serious heart attack, he finally had the actual heart attack, and he joked for years, "Oh, it's the big one, it's a big one." And I said, I can't remember the name of his wife. And what's the name of his wife where you're screaming all the time when he had the heart attack? Name of his wife? Elizabeth. And I never even did a wife thing and a heart attack.
Because for the rest of us, it's just another. I used to date an Elizabeth. It doesn't mean anything.
I know, but I'm saying, well, why couldn't that been me? Had to be the big one. I thought, I can't believe you didn't actually rib me or anything about it. I was actually crap proud of myself for the way we're handling things.
You held it up?
I
24 hours.
For almost a full day. Okay, we're going to play Senator the Thing, and then I want to talk about the golf tournament. We haven't plugged the golf tournament in a while. But first, Senator John the Creature was on Stephen Colbert the other night, and they were playing some kind of meme game or something. Anyway, apparently they really didn't get it when Senator the Thing started trying to mock somebody who really didn't deserve it. Flounder, if you would, sir.
You all should need to know that America is not sending their best and brightest, to Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Exhibit A.
Like sometimes you literally just can't believe, these people are making the decisions that are, determining the government here. It's actually scary.
Well, even Governor Mike Huckabee replied on social media, Fetterman speaks the truth. He's unaware of it, but he embodies the very truth he speaks. This could have been a skit on SNL. It was a rare, funny moment on Stephen Colbert. Yeah, America's not sending the best and the brightest. My God, man.
Hello, McFly. Hello.
By the way, another Babylon Bee headline was pretty funny. It came out this morning. Harvard student leaves lecture on microaggressions to attend Kill the Jews rally. Jesus, unbelievable.
They call the conservatives Nazis for years, and then there's actual Nazi behavior of killing Jews, and they support it.
Yeah. This was the day in 2000. 2 suicide bombers from Osama bin Laden's killer squads got the motorized dinghy with explosives, rammed the port side of the American destroyer, the USS Cole, docked in the harbor in Yemen. The blast blew a hole 40 feet wide and killed 17 sailors and nearly killed another 40. And it's definitely not one world, that's for sure. A quick mention about the golf tournament. Don't forget, Dogwood Golf Club in Austell. It's a inaugural Veterans Day Golf Classic. It's on Monday, November 6th. Dogwood Golf Club in Austell, and you can sign up and play or sponsor and all that kind of stuff. Go to extra1063.com or 680thefan.com. And we're looking for sponsors like Kroger, Saunders Health, Corona Beer. Tito's is going to be there with beer and the golf from Corona.
Tito's tequila, isn't it?
Tito's handmade vodka.
Or vodka.
Handmade vodka. The Color Spot and PGA Tour Superstore, among others.
God, I wish.
And I think are we going to play? They want me to show up there and everything. It's going to be people and golfers and
all three of us will be there.
People.
Are we going to play? Are we going to play it? We get Miss Veronica too. We'll make it a foursome.
We'll see.
Oh, maybe we could just be on one hole and hit one for everybody coming through. I don't know. Whatever they want to do.
Maybe they don't want to.
We will all be there.
We will all be there.
Yes, we will.
And now, do we plan on doing our show from there, or
Probably
is it a best
not. I don't know those details yet, but we'll get them all.
Okay, now you have warned them, though, right? I mean, you have warned them about
Tenders,
you want the Kimmer to do a live show after the golf tournament? Yeah, take a chance. Why not?
Stuff.
What could go wrong?
It's Peabody material.
Well, there you are. You definitely never forget it. I know that. Anyway, I don't know. Oh, by the way, again, a reminder, it's 5:59. We're almost out of here. A little after 6, we're going to be joining Shannon Burke, who's down in Florida. Florida Man Radio, I think is how you get to him if you want to hear his show. And then we'll probably replay the segment we do after we're off the air, but live on his show tomorrow sometime after 5.
Got breaking news.
Breaking news.
America's white people have run out of their token black friends to appear with them in television commercials.
Oh, my God. Are they just doing all black now?
They've run out of black.
Oh, my God. Well, now they're going to start showing white guys wearing Dockers and Bass Regions or something.
Someone had a joke. It says they're starting to show white people joining the Army. We're really in for it.
Now you're in big trouble. Talk about quotas. Oh, my God. All right, hoorah, Semper Fi. I got to go. You're killing me, boys. See you tomorrow. Go Braves.
To get Americans out. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The State Department is arranging charter flights for Americans who want to leave Israel, as commercial flights out of the country's airport are limited.
Beginning tomorrow, the United States government will arrange charter flights to provide transportation from Israel to sites in Europe.
White House National Security spokesman John Kirby, who says the U.S. is also looking into other options to get Americans out, including whether it's possible to help Americans leave over land or by sea. This as fighting between Israel